attention to the announcement for Kiambu constituency. The correct position was that in the form B, there was an error. In form A, the data was captured correctly. So the data had been corrected in form C, because in form B it was not correct. Mr. Odinga Raila in form B in Thindigwa Primary School was captured at 11 instead of 111. That has since been corrected in form C. So instead, we had read 14,860. In form B, it was captured at 14,760. It stands right now at 14,860. So let me read that again, the entire constituency. Kiambu constituency in Kiambu County, total registered voters, 87,076. Total valid votes cast, 56,546. Rejected ballots, 392. Odinga Raila, 14,860. Ruto William Samoei, 41,050. Waihiga David, 318. Wajakoya George, 318. Kitui Rural in Kitui County, total registered voters, 55,000. Total valid votes, 32,821. Rejected ballots, 337. Odinga Raila, 24,669. Ruto William, 7,845. Waihiga David, 117. Wajakoya George, 190. Kabondo Kasipul constituency, Homa Bay County. Total registered voters, 59,910. Total valid votes, 42,429. Rejected ballots, 155. Odinga Raila, 42,088. Ruto William, 260. Waihiga David, 16. Wajakoya George, 65. Thank you.
of this country. Muna imani? Mbona hakuna makofi? Kwani mnaogopa? Najua sisi wengine hatuogopi. Tunamenyana, tunapambana na tunaleta. Si ndio? Basi tuendelee kuomba, tuombee amani. Na sisi wote ambao tumechaguliwa, Mungu atusaidie tuweze kupeleka Kenya yetu mbele. Asanteni sana, Bwana awabariki.
Nataka kutambua kirasmi Mheshimiwa Kinango anaitwa Gonzi Rai. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa. Huyu ni mtu muhimu sana. Wacha yeye ndio aongee kwa niaba ya watu ya Pwani. Kamuti. Gonzi Rai. Kwa niaba ya Pwani Gonzi Rai.
Asante sana waheshimiwa viongozi niliochaguliwa. Naibu Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya Martha Karua, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka ambaye pia ni Prime Minister wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, viongozi wote mliochaguliwa, nataka niseme neno moja. Kenya imeumia kwa muda mrefu sana mikononi mwa viongozi wasiojua utu. Wakati umefika na tunawaomba viongozi wetu watatu, Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga, Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, kwamba kama kuna kitu ambacho kinataka kuzikwa katika mwaka huu ni corruption. Liondoke hili jinamizi, hii nchi itaweza kujitawala. Tuko na watu ambao wanatosha na wanaweza kufanya hii kazi.
So somebody with suicidal ideations does not have the capacity to control. It's not that they can switch on and off. Yeah, the suicidal ideations come as a last resort. They have tried everything else, and in their mind, it's not working. So when they are thinking, planning about suicide, it is to remove themselves because they view themselves as the problem.
At In Heart, your home of authentic conversations.
I have a problem. My friends, I have a problem. I have a problem. I have a serious problem. It's not a money problem. It is a different problem. It's not political problem. It is a different problem. I have a problem.
Imeleta viti 6.
My friends, I have a problem.
3, hivyo ni viti 9. Tuna magavana wawili na tuna women rep wa Azimio wawili. Vile ndugu yangu Ngozi Raya amesema, ambaye tuliingia bunge naye pamoja, tafadhali tuhakikishe kuwa sisi ni viongozi ambao tutaanza kuangalia maslahi ya wale ambao hajiwezi. A community that does not take care of its most vulnerable people in society is definitely going to fail. Please let us be sympathetic and make sure we come in with policies to change the direction of our country. Thank you so much.
Asante. Kwa niaba ya Migori, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Kisiaya, Profesa Anyang' Nyong'o. Profesa, karibu.
Azimio. Azimio. Asanteni sana ndugu zanguni. Tumekutana hapa leo kama Wakenya, kwa sababu bila umoja hatuwezi kujenga nchi yetu Kenya, ama sivyo? Umoja ni nguzo yetu. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kutoa shukrani kubwa sana viongozi wetu. Raila Amolo Odinga kama kinara wetu, Martha Karua, Deputy President, na my friend and colleague for a long time comrade, Mheshimiwa Prime Minister Kalonzo Musyoka. Asanteni sana ndugu zanguni. Leo hii ni siku ya kwanza kuongoza Kenya, na hivi karibuni tutakuwa matangazo ya kwamba Raila Amolo Odinga na Martha Karua ni leo hii, kutoka leo watakuwa viongozi wa Kenya kama president na makofi basi tata.
Kwa niaba ya Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, Gavana anatembea. Karibu sana. Bana PC. Karibu sana. Wapi askari ya kupiga salute? Sijaona.
Our Deputy President to be Mheshimiwa Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, viongozi wengine mjambo. Mimi ni kusema tu kwamba Kenya iko tayari kwa mabadiliko, na mabadiliko yanakuja. It's a momentous time for our country. Kule Trans Nzoia tumeleta viti vitatu ya ujumbe out of 5. Tumepata kiti ya ugavana na pia rais wetu ameongoza. Barikiweni sana, asante sana.
Kwa niaba ya Mlima ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa Kanini Kega, kuja usungumuse.
Thank you, sir. Thanks so much, the Deputy President, the Prime Minister, and all the leaders. On behalf ya wale majeruhi wamepatikana kwa hii vita ili baba akuwe rais, ningetaka tu Junet nikubalie wasimame tu wale majeruhi. Kioni, simama wale majeruhi, those who are casualties because of these Kioni, kwa nimesahau Kioni, wale ambao wameanguka kwa niaba ya kusimama na baba. Those are the small sacrifices that we have said that we have to go through for the sake of Baba to be the president, and we are happy and proud and walking tall. Kwa hayo mengi machache, kwa Jubilee we have about 24 members of parliament and we are very proud. Kina Kiaraho na wengine wako hapa na wengine mheshimiwa my deputy, na tunashukuru sana. Asante.
Kwa niaba ya wamama Leisuda, kuja usalimia dakika moja wale wamama ambao wanatoka minorities.
Harambe, harambe, tuimbe pamoja. Harambe, harambe, tuimbe pamoja.
Asante sana viongozi wetu, vinara wetu. Congratulations to all the leaders ambao wamepita na kina mama ambao wamechaguliwa kwa Azimio. Congratulations, ninajua ile vita ambayo mmepigana, especially constituency seats na senators wetu na wengine wote, na waomba hata wasimame tuwapigie makofi kwa ile kazi nzuri ambayo wamefanya. Akina mama wetu, congratulations sana kwa ile kazi ambayo mumefanya. Tuko na records ambazo zimepigwa. Narok for the first time tumepata MP constituency, Senator akina Fatuma Dulo mara ya pili, akina Gesa mara ya tatu. Kwa hivyo asanteni sana. Samburu tulideliver kwa baba vilivyo na tunatarajia ushindi wake kama president wetu. Asanteni sana.
Haya, sasa kwa niaba ya Bonde la Ufa huko Rift Valley, iko governor anaitwa Olelenku. Ameshinda watu mara mbili, sio mara moja, mara mbili.
Your Excellency Deputy President, Prime Minister, colleague governors, fellow leaders, good morning. I want to convey my congratulations to all of you, and I want to say the Rift Valley is also for Baba. You hear Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, Kajiado, Narok, tumesimama ngumu, tumelete viti nyingi na tumelete pia ushindi kubwa sana ya Baba. Tunataka kusema kwa ndugu zetu wasiofaulu, tuko na serikali nyingi za county na tuko na serikali kuu, kwa hivyo msivunjike moyo. And on behalf of the Rift Valley family, the Ma Nation, we stand strong to say Azimio is the way. Thank you very much and have a good morning.
Kwa niaba ya Nairobi nitaalika watu wawili. Kwanza Mheshimiwa George Ladwa kuja usungumuze kama mtu wa Nairobi, ama watatu. Unajua Nairobi iko na watu tofauti.
Asante Junet. Kwa niaba ya Nairobi, wa Deputy President na viongozi wote, Nairobi ni Azimio, imekuwa blue. Tumepata wabunge 13 kutoka 17. Majority MCAs ni Azimio. Kwa hivyo Nairobi ni blue na Nairobi ni Raila Amolo Odinga, na tunashukuru wa viongozi wote na wananchi wote wa Nairobi kupatia baba kura zote hapa. Na ya pili na kumalizia, takushukuru wa team leaders, Mheshimiwa Timu Wanyonyi pamoja na CAS Mheshimiwa Rachel Shebesh kuongoza timu ya Nairobi na wabunge wote ili tuweze kupata kura hizo. Mungu awabariki, asanteni sana.
Mheshimiwa Mawadhe, dakika moja.
To the incoming Deputy President, to the incoming Prime Minister, Mheshimiwa Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, magavana walioapa na wabunge waliochaguliwa. Hamjambo. Sisi hapa Nairobi kama alivyosema chairman wetu tumedeliver. Kati ya viti 17 kama alivyosema tumechukua 13 na women rep na senator tumefagia zote. Na mimi nina haki ya kwamba hivi karibuni atakayetangazwa ni baba Raila Amolo Odinga. Mkiangalia ile map iko pale wanaruninga, mkiangalia ile map iko pale, nchi nzima ni blue. Ni hapo kadogo tu kuna hiyo rangi nyingine tofauti, hiyo undercoat. Kwa hayo mengi mimi nataka kuwapongeza wenzangu tuliochaguliwa, tuko tayari tufanye kazi pamoja. Asante sana na Mungu awabariki.
Haya, Babu Wino. Dakika moja babu. Na Mheshimiwa Yusuf Hassan ndio. Salimie watu. Dakika moja.
Asante sana my leader. Asanteni sana. I want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Embakasi East Republic for re-electing me as their member of parliament. I also want to thank Kenyans for electing Raila Amolo Odinga as the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya. Raila has won elections. Raila must be declared as the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya, and Raila must be sworn in as the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya. We have sent our opponents into political oblivion, which is the entombment of the unworthy into their own dust of nothingness. We are done with them. We are dusted with them. We've already buried them into their political graves, and we are now waiting to plant flowers on their political graves. Asante.
Naona umebadilisha viatu. Hii ni swearing in. Hii ni swearing in. Karibu sana. Mheshimiwa Yusuf Hassan Kamkunji.
Hamjambo. First of all, let me congratulate you, niwapongeze kwa ushindi mliopata kuja huku. Mimi kama mwenyekiti wa Jubilee hapa nataka kusema kwamba tumeshinda vizuri. Tumepata wajumbe 15 sio 14. Hata yule wa Kasarani ambaye ni independent yuko upande wetu. Kwa hivyo tumedeliver Nairobi, na tunataraji kila mtu kutoka Nairobi sasa hivi anatazama ruringa akisubiri Raila Amolo Odinga na Martha Karua watangazwe kuwa ndio wameshinda urais, na kazi ya Azimio kama serikali mpya ya Kenya, serikali ya mageuzi, ianze mara moja na tupeleke nchi yetu juu. Asanteni sana.
Kwa kumalizia, Kakamega, Busia, Vihiga, nataka kuita Tindi Mwale. Tindi Mwale, wacha wasalimie dakika moja.
Asante sana Majority Leader. Naibu Rais Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Prime Minister Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Naibu wa Rais Mama Martha Karua, na CS Finance Designate Governor Paranya, na wote ambao wameshinda viti, na wasalimu katika jina la Yesu. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Asalamu alaikum. Huko Kakamega sisi tumejipanga, tumepata viti 10 za ubunge, out of 12 ni Azimio. Alafu tuko na viti 45 ya MCS out of 60, 45 seats ziko kwa Azimio. Kwa hivyo sisi ile tunangoja ni waapishe baba, watangaze baba Raila Amolo Odinga kama rais wa 5 wa Kenya, na tumwapishe akuwe yeye ndio mkombozi ambaye ataleta usawa, umoja na maendeleo katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana. Sasa kwa kumalizia hii ratiba hapa, Senator kuja useme jambo. Senator wa Kitui anaitwa Kio Wambua. Hapo tunafunga sasa, niende hapa mbele.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Hamjambo. Maneno matatu tu. Ya kwanza, uko Lower Eastern we have delivered. What our party leader promised to deliver, he has delivered the 3 governors, he has delivered the 3 senators, he has delivered the 3 women reps. Na akavuka Taita Taveta, out of the 4 members of parliament, he has delivered 3 of them. Akaenda mpaka huko Kicc, ameleta the women rep na member of parliament. Huko Northeastern tumeleta member of parliament. Wiper has contributed no less than 27 members of parliament to Azimio. Jameni, Nairobi tumedeliver mawadhe. Simunipatie Wiper kidogo tu, Wiper. Asante sana.
Asante sana.
Ya mwisho Janet. We all know what happened in 2013. We won the election under code, and yet we did not win. In 2017, we won the election under code, under NASA, we did not win. It will not happen again this year. It will not happen. Na wale ambao wako na uoga wabaki hapa, wale mashujaa tuende tuchukue kiti. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana. Sasa hapa mbele nataka kuanza na katibu mkuu wa chama ambaye inatawala nchi sasa hii, ambaye anafanya handing over kesho kutwa. Anaitwa Mheshimiwa Jeremiah Kioni. Jubilee Party is the ruling party of Kenya. Wacha hiyo upusi unasikia wale wanaongea hapa kandakanda.
Asante sana na ni vizuri kujua kwamba party leader wa Jubilee ni His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Na nataka kusema kwamba kidogo ilisemwa na Kanini ya kwamba kama wale ambao walijeliwa Mount Kenya, hasa Mount Kenya kutoka the 10 counties, na sijui kama mtawaruhusu wasimame, sijui kina Kapinga wako hapa wasimame. Mount Kenya, Damali simameni, Kanini Kega, wale ambao wako kule. And yes, you can see them, hawa kina Mase. We have a 24% turnout that voted for Raila Amolo Odinga. There is a 44% that did not turn out. If the work that was done by those who stood among others was not done, picha ingekuwa tofauti sahi. Kwa hivyo mnaposherehekea ushindi, hakikisheni ya kwamba mmesherehekea that sacrifice that was made by Uhuru Kenyatta through those individuals, because we were able to get Raila more than he has ever gotten from Mount Kenya, and we were also able to ensure that others would have voted for William did not vote for him. And that is why we are here. That is why one of the other reasons why Raila Amolo Odinga will be sworn in as the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya. And the ones that are here, leader, it's good to make sure that you recognize this, are the ones with the heavy responsibility of taking care of Mount Kenya region, who have been misled into the opposition, because that is the team that will be speaking on behalf of them in government. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Nataka kurecognize kufika Senator ya Nairobi, mechaguliwa anaitwa Senator Edwin Watenya Sifuna. Sasa kwa niaba ya ODM nataka kualika Mheshimiwa Minority Leader wetu John Badi. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa.
Azimio. Hii ni mkutano ya siasa kweli. Azimio. Thank you very much. Let me start by congratulating all of you, beginning with our Deputy President, Her Excellency, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka Pia, who is our Prime Minister incoming, and all governors present, both incoming and outgoing, all members of Parliament in the two houses of the Senate and National Assembly. I want to just say congratulations. You campaigned hard, you campaigned smart, and you won your seat. But above all, you delivered to the Azimio presidential candidate. I want to also add that we know that Raila Odinga is the presidential candidate under Azimio, but the parent party is ODM. May I take this opportunity to thank all constituent parties of the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya political party for supporting Raila Amolo Odinga to paint the country blue. My last comments would be that I think IEBC is taking too long. The anxieties are necessary. We want the announcement. Raila has won this seat. So there is no wastage of time. We are going to celebrate, I think, before the end of today, Raila's win. That's what I would say. Thank you. But there's something I'm forgetting, Junet, and I think is relevant for this meeting. And as one who has been in Parliament for 15 years, your unity, we have the majority. So your unity will deliver everything for you first. You must be united to elect your speaker and deputy speaker, and so that you take all chairs of committees, because you are the majority and we are forming the government. So please, please be united. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, leader. Sasa nataka kualika Minority Leader ya Senate ambaye sasa amebadilika, anaitwa His Excellency Governor James Agre Orengo, Governor wa Siaya.
Azimio.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and His Excellency, the Prime Minister, Kalonzo Musyoka. I also feel proud to be part of this great family, the Azimio family, and congratulate the leadership for a job well done. Lakini mkinikubalia, wacha niseme hivi. I think it's very important. The results of these elections are known because the results are in the portal. The genuine forms which have been transmitted and I think it is important to say so. If you go to the Kicc kits, again, the transactions of uploading the results that are contained in the forms, if you look at those Kicc kits, the election has been won by Raila Amolo Odinga. But I urge the DCI, because within Kenya Kwanza, there's a criminal enterprise. These people should be arrested because in the presidential vote, there's nearly 800,000 to 1 million votes that has been cast for the president, which has not been cast for the governor or the senator or the women rep. It can't happen that way. And in Mount Kenya, in fact, it is in Mount Kenya. So the DCI should take steps very quickly to bring these people to book. Finally, Jeanette, when I look at that map, Kenya is getting together as one nation. Kenya is blue. In fact, if you look at that yellow, it is misleading because in Central, there is more than 30% who are blue by possession. So Martha Karua and Raila Amolo Odinga, you are leading a great revolution of bringing Kenya together as one nation and one people. Asante sana.
Asante sana senior. Sasa hapa ODM kuna acting governors. Tuko hapa na governors elect ambao wanangoja kuapishwa na kuna acting governors. Sijui kwa nini uchaguzi haikufanyika Mombasa na Kakamega ya governors. Na wanajua hiyo ni stronghold yetu ya Azimio. I don't know whether it was by design or there is something else that matter will be looked into, because it is very funny that they only chose 2 counties, major counties, where our 2 deputy party leaders come from, which they know is the bedroom of Baba. But we will deal with that matter after the swearing in. So I want to call upon His Excellency Governor Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya, the acting governor of Kakamega County. Na usikatalie kiti, mtu mwingine akichagulia upende tu, tafadhali. Usikatalie.
Wananchi hamjambo. I want first of all to take this opportunity to congratulate all of you who have won various seats for their Azimio movement. I want also to congratulate those who have fallen. I have colleagues like Wycliffe Wangamati, my colleague in Bungoma, whom I know has lost because of supporting Baba, and many others from that region that I come from. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all success. And as my colleague has said, what we need is unity. If we remain united behind our leadership, we will take this country to the next level. God has given you a chance to serve Kenyans. Please do so with dignity so that we can prosper as a country. I want especially to thank Kalonzo Musyoka. I've never had a chance to thank him. I know if Kalonzo was not with us, maybe the results would have been different. And also Martha Karua. I know the coming of Martha Karua has brought many women, and you can see quite a number of women has been elected this round. So with this, I think we shall move on. And we are sure that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to win today. Maybe tomorrow there will be an announcement, or whichever day, because we have done our mathematics and we know that we are winning. Asanteni, Mungu awabariki.
Asante sana gavana. Sasa nataka kualika acting governor wa Mombasa, Mheshimiwa His Excellency Hassan Ali Joho.
Aye, DJ nyimbo zote basi hiyo. Kwanza niseme hongera kwa viongozi wote ambao wamechaguliwa, na kwa sababu nimeona watu wanabeba sifa, hata mimi ningeomba wale wa kutoka jimbo la Pwani wasimame pale walipo, waonekane kwamba tumeleta viti za kutosha, na hata zile zilobaki kaeni tu, zitakuja tu. In fact, the only one for Mombasa itakuja tu kwa Azimio. Wale watu walitengeza ile map, ningewaomba in some part of central Kenya waweke light blue. It can't be yellow. So tafadhalini wale walobobea katika mambo haya, wekeni light blue hapo, kwa sababu hii kiti kimeenda, si ndio? Si tunangoja tu baba apishwe, si ndio? And therefore mimi nimekuja hapa kusherehekea, na nimesikia hapa kuna DJ, watu wamekaa wamezubazuba. Tumwambie DJ weka mziki ambaye tunaweza kucheza sisi wote na tuenuke kwa viti, tule ngoma. Tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Yeah, oh, listen to mama. Yeah, freedom is coming listen to mama. Yeah, oh, listen to mama. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Aya, mkono juu basi, mkono juu, mkono. Hey, tumpatie Kalonzo wiper basi. Aya, asante sana.
Asante sana gavana. Naomba tukae. Sasa naomba tukae. Nataka kutambua kuwepo ya gavana wa Machakos. Anaitwa Wavinya Ndeti. Asante sana mama. Gavana ndio huyu. Mmenyorosha wanaume wako kando. Sasa kabla sijalika waziri mkuu wa serikali ya Azimio, nataka kutangaza ya kwamba sisi kama Azimio applications iko open kuanzia leo ya watu wa nje na watu wa ndani hapa, wale ambao wanataka kuwa speaker ya National Assembly. Weka application sasa. Hii imekuwa wazi. Kama wewe ni mtu uko nje unataka kuwa speaker ya National Assembly, tengeneza CV. Kama wewe ni mbunge unataka kuwa speaker, tayarisha CV. Speaker sasa itatoka Azimio. Sawa sawa? Ya mwisho sasa nataka kualika waziri mkuu wa serikali ya Azimio, Mheshimiwa Daktari Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka.
I thought you were going to give me Buffalo Soldier. Ama bado ako kwa madaki. Able to give us a Buffalo Soldier.
And good afternoon. I hope you can hear me now. Welcome to the Arts in Heart. My name is Likuyani Eli. We're experiencing quite some delays there at the Bomas of Kenya because of the connection issues, but we shall be getting back to them as soon as this is practical. For now, that is the Azimio inauguration party happening there at the KICC in Nairobi. We've seen quite some speakers looking and sounding optimistic. In fact, we've had James Orengo speaking and really calling upon the DCI to look into a criminal enterprise called the UDA, or Kenya Kwanza. According to James Orengo, there could be some fishy business happening with the tallying, or rather the system that is receiving the ballots that were casted, and we are hoping that we will get that as soon as practical. Again, if I have to repeat in Swahili, kwa sasa tumekuwa tukitazama picha za moja kwa moja kutoka jumba la kongamano la KICC jijini Nairobi, ambako wanaazimio wamekuwa wakikongamana ili kuweza kupata kujulizana tu ni yapi ambayo amekuwa akiendelea na kusherekea ushindi wao kama jumba ama nyumba ya Azimio. Hapo awali picha hizo tulikuwa tukitazamia ni kwamba tumekuwa tukiona wakiongelea mmoja baada ya mwingine kusifu na kueleza ni vipi waweza kuhusika ili kuleta kura na kuhakikisha kwamba Azimio kama muungano unaweza kunyakua kiti hicho. Wengi wao wameeleza kwamba ni jambo la maana sana kusalia kama umoja na kuendeleza yale madhamira ya nyumba ya Azimio. Iwapo serikali itaweza kutangazwa basi na Azimio kuchukua usukani, tunafikiri kwamba itaweza kufanyika hivi karibuni kulingana na yale matamshi ambayo tumeyapata pale. Hivyo basi ningependa kueleza kwamba tutaendelea na taarifa hizi za moja kwa moja na hivi punde tutarejea na taarifa zaidi. Naona nani hapa? Let's go again. Swahili is acting like it should. Kathy Brown says yes, and everybody says it is a blue party. Thank you so much. Queen Bossy Lekose watching us on Facebook. MK says the mood. What is the mood all about? And MK, we are expecting you as soon as practical in studios so that we can continue this conversation. I see Winnie Wanjira says, mbona watu huku wanakaa kuboeka hivi? We have no idea why everyone looks not so happy. But let me see if I can get Gordon online. Gordon, if you can hear me, please, I would like to invite you to this conversation. And yesterday we had a great conversation about elections disorder. A lot of you have been stuck on TV trying to find out how the results are streaming in, who is winning, who is not winning. Could it be possible you are suffering from what we call post-election stress disorder? Probably yes. According to Shalini, who is a mental health advocate, she speaks very eloquently about this situation. So we're going to take a listen in to that conversation and we come back with much more. Let's just get this one rolling. So you'll excuse me, a lot of stuff happening here, so it gets quite busy. But for now, we have Shalini. Take a listen in.
Okay, so I can tell you that I was in the diaspora in the UK for 25 years, and I followed all the Kenyan elections from there. And I found it very stressful because I knew that my family was here. I wanted to know who was going to come in. And as president, because that always makes a difference. This time for this election, I am here in Kenya. I'm in Nairobi. And the stress levels and the anxiety levels are much higher because you can feel the energy of the people. You can feel the stress that people are feeling. And also we're glued to TVs and radios and the internet all the time. And now with social media, there's even more information out there all the time. So election stress disorder is something that people feel. And it's a term that was coined in 2016 by a psychologist in America when Trump came into power. Because in America, a lot of people were feeling that anxiety. And being here on the ground in Nairobi, I can feel it. It's palpable. And I've spoken to a lot of people from all walks of life, all ages, and everybody feels this is a very important election because there's a lot of young people who are not feeling hopeful about the future. You know, Eli, mental health issues have gone through the roof. Our suicide rates have gone through the roof, and depression has gone through the roof. And young people between the ages of 20 and 35 are feeling hopeless about their future. So for them, this election is important. But having said that, many of them have not voted for many, many reasons. But I'm hearing a lot about anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, etc. So it's a very true feeling, this feeling of hopelessness, anxiety, stress, and it's something that we must all be very aware of, especially now young people. And now, as we wait for the count, I feel the level has gone even higher. So it's a very real phenomenon.
So it's real, and you say this is thanks to President Trump's election period. But one will also allude this probably to the fact that there's too much information around. Is it an issue having too much information? Because we are told information is power. And now we have the power to take that information, but there's everything coming from all directions. You can't keep up with what is happening.
Because the information is not always 100% accurate. Let me tell viewers that 50% of what you see on social media is fake news. At the moment, if you see the tallies happening on the different TV stations, they're not tallying. It's not right. At one place, one candidate is winning and another one. So this is causing anxiety. Which TV station is correct? But actually, the truth is they're probably tallying it slightly differently. Okay, they're slightly differently. To maybe one TV station is counting Ruto's votes first and the other Odinga's votes first. Yeah. So we must be aware that you should not let this cause anxiety. Let us wait. IEBC have put out the 34As are out. They're online. You can download for all of them if you want to. I wouldn't advise to do it, but you can count. And from that, you can tell who the winner is. But until the 34Bs are in and count.
So we're going to cross over again to the KICC and see what they are talking about there in a moment.
Usichoke mama.
Usichoke mama. Nafurahia mama Kenya, nakupenda mama Kenya, uzao wako.
I now must leave the stage for obvious reasons.
Naweza mama, inuka angaza wakati ni sasa. You can dream again, you can rise again. Mateso yako ni mengi, umasikini, magonjwa, uhaba wa masomo, lakini moyo wako mkuu sana. Umesimama ngangari kutetea nafasi yako wewe. Mama, mama Kenya mama, usinitenge, unitenge mama. Oh mama, mama Kenya mama, umetonga wewe. Mala karua, twakupenda. Mala karua, mala karua, mala karua.
Good afternoon, everybody. Asanteni nyote. Leo ilikuwa tupate wanaazimio wote. We meet and greet. We appreciate ourselves for a very good campaign, a 4-month campaign versus a 4-year, or was it a 9-year campaign? Well done. You're nothing short of heroes. In those 4 months, you transformed the terrain and you painted Kenya blue. We have taken the first step in transforming Kenya. We have much more to do. And therefore today is just telling ourselves, you may be feeling the fatigue of the last 4 months because we were not exhausting, but let your mind recharge because we've got more work to do. And for all of you, because you are in Nairobi, we need to distribute ourselves to the various places where our strength is needed to guard our win, because we have won. I was looking at the list of members of parliament. I'm very tempted to read out the names. I will not, I may not tire you because they've been introduced, but we are just short of 180 when you combine. You see? We have 24 governors at the moment. If you add Mombasa and Kakamega, whose by-election is coming later, you will see that we have strength around the country. If you look at our competition, they are just at about 130 members of parliament. When I last counted, even if it improves, it will not come anywhere near what we have. So even without anybody telling you the numbers, with those numbers of members of parliament, of governors, of senators, we have 23, they are one up. But if you look at everything, including all the other seats combined, there is no way the tally can be against us. And by the way, we have tallied. It's just that we do not have the power to announce ourselves, because the forms were on the portal, and we took copies and we tallied, and we know where we are. And we know if we had the power, by now we would have called it for ourselves. But we will wait. We will wait for that announcement. But please be upbeat. Know that Kenyans did give us the opportunity to steer the nation, and we are waiting for the official seal of approval. Our coalition is Azimio la Umoja. That work of unifying Kenyans, you saw the map there. We've taken a step, but that's just the beginning. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to ensure that the people we serve get the benefits of the taxes that they pay. And those benefits are not distributed by a few to their pockets. So we really have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do to build the spirit of one people, one nation, so that we first and foremost consider ourselves Kenyan, and then our communities and the rest. Because it's not wrong to acknowledge our diversity, to acknowledge the various communities we are coming from. That's our heritage, we are proud of it, but we must always emphasize our oneness as a nation. And that is what we represent as Azimio. And that is why even during the campaign, we promised to look after everyone, including those opposed to what we stand for. Recognizing that they are Kenyans, we said we shall look after everybody, and we meant it. And like we used to say, you know, our captain, we are here with his blessings, with his knowledge, he sends his greetings. You know, our captain is a man who has a very generous heart. He never carries forward grudges. He's a person who embraces all, and a person who focuses his energies on what is good for the nation. We really are looking forward to this election being called for us so that we can support him to deliver to the nation, as I know he will. Knowing that we have a lot of reform work to do, and we would have wanted more reforms even before the elections, we have to very jealously guard even that process that is ongoing at Bomas. I know some of you have been there. Thank you so much for your presence. Those who have not been there, let us all try to take turns. We need to support that process to ensure that it is not infiltrated, to ensure that it is not corrupted. Agents in the tallying center to ensure that the numbers are put together the way they should be and that the authentic forms count, or the authentic forms count, not any other form by the wayside, so that we can get to the conclusion of this. But I cannot tell you how pleased I am to see all the faces around. And I want to echo something Kioni and Kanini have said. And I think also my good friend, His Excellency, the Governor-elect of Siaya, that for those from Mount Kenya region, because except Meru, no seats have been won in that area. But you actually won votes, and actually Meru and Nyandarua. Yes, sorry, I apologize for Nyandarua because there is Kiaraho. And yes, there are two from Nyandarua. Even where no seat came, votes still came. And if they may not have been as many as we hoped, but you can imagine if those votes had gone the way some chest-thumping fellows were announcing they would go, then it would have been called out for them the first day. But because it was not, because we disrupted that chest-thumping boast and made it idle, we are now waiting for it to be called for us. When you go to war, even in the areas where we got as many votes, the occasional person who missed, you're still our hero because you put up a fight and you stood in the gap. So for those who are here and you didn't make it, feel greatly appreciated. You're part of us, and together we are going to take the next steps and to build a formidable coalition, to build a formidable nation, and to build a movement that will transform our landscape and to ensure always that our nation is peaceful. I want to thank you for coming at very short notice. I think you started receiving calls yesterday. Some of you have had to travel, some overnight. We want to thank you. And this is the same spirit we saw during the campaigns. We'd give you very little notice when coming to your areas. You never disappointed, you mobilized, you were there, and you have made it what it is today. You are our heroes, each one of you. We thank you, we love you, and we want you to know that we look forward to working with all of you as one. We do not view any part of the country as not part of the Blue Nation. Where we need several more coats of blue, we have enough paint in our stores. We are coming. Where you have an undercoat that does not proclaim the Blue Nation, we want to tell you that you belong to us too. We will convince you. It will not be a forced taking, but we are coming because Kenya must be one. And that doesn't mean there should be no dissent. We appreciate and recognize the right of everybody to dissent. But that spirit of oneness, because that is what Azimio la Umoja represents, oneness. That spirit of oneness, that nationhood, is what we are going to spread to the whole country while respecting differences in opinion. I don't want to go any further, just to say we are ready for the task ahead. This is just the beginning of our meetings. This was a meet and greet. Immediately, the announcement we expect is made. There will be many more meetings. You will meet as members of parliament, as National Assembly, as Senate to caucus and elect leadership. Women reps will also meet because they also need to caucus around themselves. And those governors will meet. We intend to showcase devolution. You know, our captain is very passionate about devolution. Indeed, I would christen him the father of devolution. This is our chance to make devolution what it should be. So we look forward to governors caucusing, sharing, encouraging one another, and sharing good practices on what to do to make devolution work for Kenya. So like I've said, this is just one of the first of the many meetings we are going to have. I want once again to urge you, if there are places they have not finished tallying for members of parliament, any place they have not issued certificates, go support our members. At Bomas, let us take turns. Let us support that process. We have invested. We have our votes there. We have our win being tallied. So go out there and let us ensure everything goes on well. I want to thank you. Once again, congratulate you all, not just those who got the seats, all those who put their best foot forward to make today what it is. And we look forward to working together and making it happen for Kenya. Asanteni sana.
That's very, very interesting sentiments coming there from the Deputy President-elect, Martha Karua, Honorable, and she is optimistic that they are going to be sworn in as Deputy President and President respectively. I have with me Godwin, who is here to help me understand this conversation and where it's headed. Godwin, good afternoon to you if you can hear me. How are you from Nairobi, Kenya?
Good afternoon, Eli. How are you?
Good to see you, sir. Please, is this a meet and greet for us?
I can see you're following the queue, already calling Her Excellency Martha Karua as Deputy President-elect. I don't know where the data from. From where I sit, I know she's still Azimio's presidential running mate. IBC who have mandated that responsibility of declaring the winner, yet to do so. And now I don't think we have a president-elect. Anyway, moving on. I think if you look at the events at AICC, you can read in different moods. Body language in terms of whatever that is coming out of mouth of the speakers and the body language that they still not too much. Because yes, there's that confidence that is being exuded, you know, like you've taken this one, but still shaking, you know, you don't seem to feel that jubilation, that excitement on. So from my side, I really don't understand if it's really the victory that is there, or we're trying to have some more of PR, because, you know, as we speak right now, many Kenyans are very anxious for what will come. And all our supporters from across the divide, everyone is anxious and everyone is waiting for their leader to be named the president-elect. So I think it's just a matter of managing anxiety supporters for my there's much you would expect for someone who knows already they're born, you know. So that excitement that is there, the jubilation, but I didn't feel much of that mood at S3.
Actually, it's interesting that you point that out, because I see some comments coming in and people are asking about the mood. Some are debating about the body language. And there's an interesting comment that came through from Africa KE, who says this conference should be banned till announcement, because if everyone comes, say they won, Kenya will be back to 2007.
And I really want to agree with Mark because remember, we are dealing with a very contested election, and the winner is yet to be announced. So, what will happen if now people from the opposing camp see this? Because they feel you know something that we don't know. Why did you, as much as we're saying we have Form 34 is on the IBC portal and all that, but still, it's not within your mandate to announce who the winner is. So, keeping in mind what Kenyans are waiting for and the state Kenyans are in right now, it is too early to be holding such events. I believe that's premature. You can just have your arrangements behind the scenes, but once the IBC chair declares or announces the winner, then we can see such. So, having to assemble even the newly elected member of parliament, I still feel it's premature, but let's see how.
Premature, you call it. I want us to go through some of the major highlights of, actually I will concentrate on Martha Karua's speech, and some of the words that were coming out is, she says, we have tallied, we know where we are, but we cannot announce. Is she sending out some message to her supporters?
Definitely, and as I said earlier on, I want to look at this in two ways, Ellie. One is to exude confidence and to calm down the Azimio supporters, to know that the win is on their side. And then on the other hand, I would look at it as a preparation. Should the IBC announce otherwise, that Azimio didn't win this election, then this will be an avenue to head to the Supreme Court. Because they say, you know what, we are tallying and our numbers and your numbers are not adding up. So let's go to the Supreme Court and this one is settled down. Understand? Because if they don't do such and then they come out in the last minute saying that, you know what, we won, they'll be not like, politics is all about perception. Because already the perception that is being painted right now is Azimio has won. So should IBC announce anything contrary to what we are seeing at KCC right now, that is a recipe to the Supreme Court. Understand? So I want to look at it from those points.
Great. I want us to engage our audience who are watching and ask them this question. Do you feel Azimio did it right to have the so-called meet and greet meeting at the KICC before the announcement of the final election results? Do you feel that the Azimio camp did right to assemble for the meet and greet event before the declaration of the final presidential elections results? Let us know with a yes or no, with a short explanation, and let us know where you are equally watching us from. Other wordings that the Honorable Martha Karua used in her speech include chest-thumping fellows. We have disrupted them and made them idle. What do you make of that offensive, Gorin?
I understand where it's coming from, and this emanates way back from the campaign phase. Understand? Because looking at how campaigns were being run, we had a scenario where one side was looking at the others being arrogant, stamping, where the other one seemed to feel themselves as now the more calm, the people who come with respect to ask for votes and such. The other camp is some sort of entitled to whatever that has to happen. But again, it's about perception. Listen, because I don't think politics has a formula on how you have to seek votes, because anyone who's looking for votes knows what appeals to the audience that they're speaking to. And each camp will always take something from the other camp to use it as a campaign tool against them. You saw even the issue of integrity coming up. For us, we are the ones that we don't have integrity issues. On the other hand, we have more corrupt people on the other side. But you come to look at it, honestly speaking, in both camps, we have people who have attempted image in the past, people who've been accused of either corruption scandal or any other things that touches on integrity issues. So I really find no reason why one person will come and try to make this site more cleaner than the other one.
Again, in her speech says we have enough paint. Are they willing and ready to have post-election arrangements with the other probably parties in order to strengthen the Azimio camp?
Exactly, that one will be expected because as we speak right now, the first stage is already gone in terms of deciding the election because you've already voted. But now what comes next is now post-election agreement. We've had that. That's what we're going to expect. There are people who are going to be decided in, after the presidential election have been announced. Once one government assumes office, there are people who will be defeated, and so there'll be a lot of campaign in terms of political parties. Because remember, we're dealing with coalition, right? We have the Azimio coalition with distinct political parties in it, and then also have Kenya Kwanza with distinct political parties in it. So definitely, after the president has been announced, we're going to have more of post-election MOUs. You know, people coming up now to some joining the government, others joining the opposition, because this election has been characterized by power sharing. So once the government has been assumed, there are people who are expecting some positions. So once they don't get those positions, they'll have to become to the other side. And that's what is going to now form the campaign for the 2027 election. And in Kenya, we tend to campaign immediately after the government has been gone in. Once the new government assumes office, we start campaigning. So that will form now what is going to happen later on.
Where does this leave the Ruto camp? We haven't heard them come out publicly speaking about the results of the elections so far. We haven't had them declaring any meetings or any get-togethers. Does that mean they are cowing in and probably weighing in their options, or they're just being careful not to mislead the voters?
Looking at it, probably publicly in terms of having some arrangements like the one you're seeing at SEC, they have not had them because what we know, they have a tallying center at the Catholic University of East Africa. Definitely, they've set up a similar platform in terms of seating arrangement and sort of stuff. But now we've not had such a premature declaration saying, we've won and all that. Leave for social media news that is going around for every site coming out, we've won and all that. But at this time, I don't think social media will be the best place to get information from, or rather news, because of what is happening then. Remember, the other day, Shalini is saying almost whatever that is happening on social media, almost 50% of it is fake news. So we can't really rely on social media right now to know what's happening. But publicly declaring or saying, we've won ABCD, we've not had such thing.
One thing for sure is we cannot wish off we call the UDA team because of the Nakuru County. Godwin, Nakuru County, predominantly female-dominated elections?
This year's election was very, very different as compared to the previous elections that we've had. We've seen women coming up strongly, taking elective seats, and most of them have won. Unlike in previous regimes where we've had women playing a second fiddle, where most of them were either nominated in these positions, mostly in parliament and such. But this time around, we've seen women coming out strongly, putting their best feet forward, and they really fought for it. Because let's go back to 2013, where we didn't have any female governor. And then in 2013, we had three governors coming in, being elected. and now we're having 7, so far that have been declared. So it's a sign that women have really woken up and they're really taking up the mantle and looking at it in the sense that it's not about certain positions are only meant for men. Because look at even the scenario of Meru County. This woman who won the governor seat, Mwangaza Kawira, she came out as an independent, beating some of the seasoned politicians, including Letu Murungi, who's been in politics for over 30 years right now. Understand? And an independent candidate coming in. So I think right now we're moving to the right direction. And as I told you earlier, don't be surprised if we have more than 7 governors as we stand right now in these 5 years. Because if we're going to experience a tendency like the one we had the other time of governors being impeached, we might end up with even more female governors. Because I told you, even the male governors that are coming in, most of them have female as their running mate. So let's see how everything is going to come up.
Great, because I want us to actually get to digest further the Nakuru County leadership. It is headed, or rather will be headed by Susan Kihika, as the governor, and then we'll have the very contested seat, that is the senatorial seat, by one Tabitha Karanja. You know Karanja from all the issues to do with Keroke breweries. Eventually had to be closed. I don't know if they were given leeway to discuss and reopen. That is something that I have to look into. Then we have Honorable Liza Chelule, Women Rep, Nakuru County. Indeed, we have MP Bahati, that is Irene Joki, and Honorable Jane Kihara, MP Naivasha, Honorable M. Wangari, MP Gilgil, Honorable Katambi, MP Njoro, and without forgetting Honorable Mwangi G, MCA Bahati. Complete outfit of a female leadership. Is this supposed to be a celebration, or is it supposed to be a common occurrence in our politics?
At the moment, it's supposed to be a celebration because now we're having female leaders coming in, as I said earlier. Remember, in the previous parliament, we saw issues regarding the 2/3 gender rule, to an extent where the former CJ advised the president to dissolve the National Assembly. But right now, where we're headed, we're going to have a scenario where women will not need to be maybe somehow legislated to have to be represented in the National Assembly or whichever elective seat. And I'm really looking forward to a point where 2/3 gender rule is not supposed to mean it's favoring women. We're looking at a point where at some point we'll have more elected women leaders, and now the men will be the one struggling to get the 2/3 gender balance in both Senate, National Assembly, and the likes. And with whatever that has happened in Nakuru, after the next 5 years, it's going to serve as a precedent. So what people are going to look at is how these women are going to perform, because as we said, Nakuru County is predominantly headed by women leadership. Whatever they're going to do, it will set up precedents, and whether other counties will borrow a leaf from them, or people will say, you know what, this time around women had the chance, but they mess it around. So do we consider electing women, or we go back to the male-dominated politics that we've had before? So I think Nakuru County has a very hard task ahead of it, because it's going to shape the politics of this nation moving forward.
It's going to shape the politics of the nation moving forward, and of course we want to engage further in this conversation. If you're joining us for the first time, let us know where you're watching us from, and we're discussing the post-election analysis of the politics of the day. We know for sure Azimio fact went to the KICC in what now we are told is a meet and greet sort of event, being chaired there by Martha Karua as the head. We didn't see Baba there. I don't have official report of where Baba was, but I believe he's still in those consultative meetings. He cannot appear to try and look as though he's trying to shape where the conversation is headed. But Martha admits that Baba is aware of where they are and what they are doing. So in a nutshell, we'll say, indeed, they are already creating a narrative that the election is done and dusted. And we heard James Orengo saying they need to have these elections results by the end of the day, because there's no reason as to why they shouldn't have announced. And the criminal enterprise still remains my biggest issue. Should we be giving a closer look at the Kenya Kwanza campaign, or rather the Kenya Kwanza team, in terms of trying to do something that Azimio say they could be cooking figures? Godwin?
You know, in this election, everyone wants to be correct in terms of what is going to happen from here moving forward. As I told you earlier, even before the election, even before the voting day, lawyers from both camps, as they are gathering evidence that they're going to use in the Supreme Court during the election petition. So, you know, you see, when you see such sentiments coming out, you know, I don't know, criminal enterprise, people trying to pick up numbers. All this it will have to be proven in court. Understand? So all they need to do is, if it's happening, then they need to have a very concrete evidence that they're going to produce in court, so that it can really prove whatever they're saying. But in a nutshell, I think people are just trying to be relevant and taking precautions should any of the candidates be declared a winner. The other camp will have to find a way on how to counter, because remember, even the issue of what do we call it, manual and electronic voter verification. All this is going to come in play, because remember, the Azimio side were against the use of only electronic verification. They really advocated for manual verification as well. But now the Delta blow, when the Court of Appeal dismissed that move and ordered IBC to use only electronic verification, and in certain circumstances, that's when manual register had to come in. So such like from the Azimio side, they want to prove why it was important for manual register to be used as an alternative. So it's going to be a long week. And then the issue of them from the Azimio side, like trying to say IBC is taking too long. We understand there's a lot of anxiety, but again, you don't have to rush the IBC to release results early, only for us again to end up in the Supreme Court, because the more time we're going to go wasting in the Supreme Court, it creates even more anxiety, because 2017 already created a precedence whereby we know an election can be nullified. You understand? So each of the whichever camp that is going to lose, they want to capitalize on the Supreme Court with the hope that the election might be nullified, and maybe we'll have another election. Let's wait and see. But let's give IBC time to do what they have to do, because constitutionally they have 7 days to do that. Let's wait and see how the results are.
Great. As we wait and see, Godwin, I want us to invite one more person to this conversation. MK has been setting camp in the western region of Kenya, that is in Kakamega County. We want to find out what are the new information streaming in from there. I hope we are able to have a great communication with him, because, you know, out of city, then the boy becomes a village. Good evening, good afternoon, MK. If you can hear me, how are you?
Good evening, Eli. Can you hear me?
Great. Good afternoon to you. Actually, we are way ahead of the time. I can hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the conversation. And where are you coming in from?
Eli, I'm right now, I'm actually in Kakamega town.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is waiting like just anyone else in the country.
Yes.
we have very limited information as far as what's going on at the Bomas is concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know when we will have the final news. I
Yeah.
think it has become more confusing than anyone even expected.
Mm-hmm.
We actually everyone is just asking wametangaza ama bado wamefikia wapi. You know, it is what we have been made to go through. I think that
Yeah.
there has been we have experienced the biggest kind of confusion we never expected. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
it is almost today is the fourth day after close of polls, and
Mm-hmm.
yet we, according to the numbers, official numbers from the IBC, we are not even 50%. If I'm not wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
we are still in the dark. Initially, we had the media houses telling, but they abandoned. And the irony is even Chebukati moved to the media houses on them being slow in their tallies. I don't know what he meant by that. Right
Yeah.
now, we don't know. We have very limited information. The TVs, the mainstream media have only resorted to giving debates and discussions, nothing
Mm-hmm.
substantial, no figures, nothing. And in fact, everyone now is stranded as far as getting the information is concerned. Nobody knows where we are as a country, no, when we are likely to have the final results. What will happen to the schools on Monday? Are we still having the schools on Monday? Are they going to be postponed? Because as far as the information I have, we may not be having these results today. So we may not be having them even tomorrow. If it's likely that we will actually have these results on Monday. So why all this? We have never gone through this. Even when we have had the worst case scenarios, when in 2017, 2007, it was not like this. I think there is a mess. There is a big mess. I don't know from your end what you think, because I know you've been interacting with so many other people on the ground, the Bomas of Kenya. But where I am, it is peaceful actually. Yesterday I was in Kisumu City. Uh, there were only groups of people here and there. No business is going on. People are
Mm-hmm.
only there discussing politics, anticipating what might just come by. Those ones who are not natives are scared. Actually, people are scared. That should not be the case. Um, the good thing about Kakamega is we can actually see some businesses going on, but there is that anxiety. We need somebody to speak to the nation. We need somebody
Mm-hmm.
to speak and give an update. We need this somebody should be actually the IEBC should speak. Tell the country we have delayed. 5 days later, we don't have official figures streaming on your screens so that you may follow. I don't know what they are hiding. I don't know whether they think that will keeping the figures in the dark will cure any kind of anxiety or maintain whatever they want, maybe peace or what. But I think
Mm-hmm.
it is going towards a risky end, because when people give up on waiting, they may resort to other things. Because I saw crowds in other places I was traveling, crowds of people discussing politics. So assuming they give up and they
And what exactly, if you can let us know from what you heard, what exactly were their concerns? What concern were these crowds trying to express in their discussions?
Number one, the main concern is that nobody knows exactly what has been tallied. Nobody knows what has been tallied. Nobody knows the official stage of tallying, where what percentage of forms have been actually tallied, and the figures uploaded or put on the board where everyone can see. And if anybody knows, those figures are still, we still have a very long way to go, because after 4 days we shouldn't be where we are. We should be actually having a figure close to more than 90%, almost concluding this, just verifying the final figures, so that today we actually have the final results. That's what I would think. Are you still there, Eli? Are you still there?
MK, I'm there with you. I'm actually following through, and yeah, that's quite a matter of concern. Godwin.
Secondly, Eli, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Eli,
Go ahead.
just a minute. Secondly, initially we had people were glued to the televisions and stuff from first day, second day, until yesterday midday when the media stopped tallying. So all the figures just disappeared. Nobody knows why the media, the mainstream media stopped tallying. We're now following on actually online sources. Twitter rumors. Twitter is currently full of unverified information, and that is where people are actually relying on. It is unfortunate that nobody is actually giving us a credible update. 2017 there was a screen. Although we said that those figures were not actually coming in a very transparent way, but there was actually a screen from on an update constantly on our televisions from the IBC. These are the figures. But right now there is nothing. If you check your TVs, you'll find only interviews and updates, general updates on the other seats. But everyone is concerned about who is going to be the president. Almost 5 days tomorrow will be marking the 5th day. We may not have these results today. So the main concern is we have been kept in the dark. Nobody is accessing that. Not everyone is accessing that boat at the Bombers. The TVs are not even giving us a glimpse of it. Unless you have somebody there, or unless you're following another media outlet that is not the mainstream media, you may not know what's going on. So that is the position. There is some anxiety. People have just given up, and people think they are now losing too much time and money, because 7 days, 5 working days later, how much has the economy lost? That is too much. I think we need some accountability. Actually, if you ask me right now, the IBC has really performed very poorly, very poorly. I can rate it now. That is my opinion.
Okay, that's quite some opinion, MK. I don't know, Godwin, what's your opinion? Because I know for sure the IBC chair has been giving us updates, and the latest one was that they were having quite some delays because some of those Form 34As, the physical ones, had not been tallied. They only had up to 29%, and the job includes receiving the physical forms, counter-checking with what was transmitted, and having to verify that the results as they are before they can fill out on 34Bs. Godwin, what's your take on this approach from MK? Godwin, we're experiencing some connection problem from your end. I don't know what's happening there. If you can try and look into this, because it's quite difficult to have a conversation with you. So meanwhile, MK, I mean, it's okay to say that we are having a delay of issues, and the media was earlier on trying to tally these numbers and streaming them on the screens. But do you feel it was creating more anxiety other than giving us solutions?
Yes, it was. If the way it started that was on Wednesday, it was actually creating more anxiety. Number one, because we were having different figures on different media outlets, and secondly, we did not have any information from the IBC to counter-check with what the media is having. We were in the dark as far as IBC is concerned. Then secondly, you don't know what the populace are thinking when from nowhere you wipe off their screens the figures that they were following. Now, will you convince anyone who really thinks? Everyone doesn't, or not all people think the same. Others will think now, where have these figures disappeared to? Nobody will know that. Some people will not understand that the independent media houses were allowed to do their own tallying. They'll think, is there anything fishy that is being cooked, that is happening, that we don't know? Why have the figures just disappeared? Where were these media houses getting these figures that the IBC was not getting them from? Now, you see, we now have, I know the process is very tedious. We have to compile all those from 34As. They are the ones that actually give rise to Form 34Bs. The Form 34Bs per constituency are supposed to come up with the last Form 34C for the final result as far as the presidential vote is concerned. That Form 34B has to be created and has to tally as the Form 34As physically received have to be actually verified against those ones uploaded from the station, the polling station, by the presiding officers. The returning officer has to come up with that Form 34B from the total of Form 34S. So this verification is a long process, but IBC knew this. But now, 4 days later, with all the manpower, they are actually very slow. If you rate them, they are the slowest. In fact, they look like they started it yesterday. They are still waiting for Form 34As from some other places. Which part of the country is that? Even if it was in the Horn of Africa, trust me, these things should have actually been transmitted and reached the IBC National Tallying Center at least 3 days later. But now we are into the fourth day, fifth day. They are still talking of not having received everything. But the good thing is, all these Form 34s were in the system. We have people, we have other organizations who have taken the initiative, they have tallied. Actually, there are, if you're vigilant online, you find that there are people who already have some of these results. They already know what's happening. Only that now you can't verify and they can't publish.
And, and that's the problem, MK, because I mean, they were publishing all this all over our screens, and some people were imagining that probably one candidate is winning against the other candidate, and that's why we have the announcements coming out, like you've heard Honorable Martha Karua speaking confidently about them taking the leadership of this nation.
But you know, Eli, before you put other people, organizations into such a position, you must have failed on your part first. You know, when you're not giving the proper updates and information, you're giving other people, individuals, rumor mongers, fake news, peddlers, an opportunity now to gain credibility, because there is nothing you're giving the public to consume. And then when they allowed the media to do the tallying, they should have actually given them a proper method of doing the tally. Not download 34s and just add the figures down, add the figures and post. No, that is not the formula for tallying. You have to first confirm that the Form 34As are received, agree with the Form 34B before the tallying resumes. That is the proper method, because you cannot just skip from Form 34A, you are now coming up with Form 34C. That is the total number of the votes. You're skipping the Form 34B stage. That is not the right process, and that is what the media were doing. The media were adding the downloaded Form 34As because they had not already uploaded 34Bs as far as Wednesday. So that is a lapse. That is a loophole. That is a lapse that IBC did. They allowed tallying, but did not. I think that's what I think. They did not train or give them the proper method that they should do when they should follow when doing the tallies. That is why eventually they had to be wiped off our screens. Nobody is doing the tallying right now. Only the IBC.
So, Godwin, do you really agree 100% with what MK is saying?
I don't know if you can hear me right now, Eli.
Yes. I'm going to mute MK. I think he's an open space, but kindly proceed.
Okay, so even because it's about the updates that you give, and I really want to solve the topic on this, because we understand they might have experienced a problem in telling the Form 34As, because each media house was giving its own data in terms of numbers, and then maybe because they are not piling up on the same end from both ends, that's what they had to solve. But now at this point, there are numbers that have been verified from the ones that have been declared by IBC. Why don't they now verify, now show those numbers so that people can know this is where we stand? Because they cannot say that they are working on unverified information. Now they're talking about the number of constituencies that have been verified. That information is in the public. Everyone has been watching the updates on the Bomas of Kenya when the commission have been reading out the numbers. Why can't now the media houses, because they have the mandate, they're given the mandate to show provisional results, give us now the total number of constituencies that have been verified. These are the numbers. This is what each candidate has gotten. That at least it tries to ease the tension, because you see they already put the public in some sort of mode where they're giving provisional results, and then all of a sudden it goes off. You see, now this kind of scenario raises many questions, because now not everyone will understand. Maybe the Form 34As that the tallying are not verified. They are not verified with the physical forms. But now the thing is, people will be like, what are they trying to do? Maybe they're trying to cook figures behind the scenes. Why all of a sudden we are seeing the numbers, and then it doesn't go. Because what IBC said is, however much, whatever information these media houses are telling, even though they are not consistent with each other, at the end of the day, after each form has been verified and tallied, the numbers should add up. You understand? So I think by media houses stopping to broadcast the numbers, it's creating more anxiety even than it was. Because you understand now, no one is interested in watching TV because, as MK said, people are just having discussions there, post-election analysis and all that. They don't want to see that. People want numbers. That's the whole purpose why people are going to the screens. So I think the media houses have really, on a greater extent, failed. As much as the IBC have already failed, but media houses have really had a role in whatever situation we're in.
MK, this is the conversation we are having, and later on we'll be crossing to the Bomas of Kenya. We are expecting a new presser on the results, and I hope as soon as that is ready, we shall be able to get there. But for the moment, we stay with this conversation, and you're watching the Arts in Heart official on YouTube, the Arts in Heart on Facebook, and this is what we do here. We do these conversations until we have the elections results. In the meantime, if this is your first time to come in, we have other enormous programs that are happening here on Art in Heart, and we will be more than privileged to allow us to share with you what we do here. For now, remember one thing, that hate speech is like a bullet.
All have to remember that hate crimes is preceded by hate speech. We all have to remember that the genocide of the Tutsis in Rwanda started with hate speech. The Holocaust did not start with the gas chambers. It started long before with hate speech. What we have been seeing in Myanmar against the Rohingya population started also with hate speech. And today, what we are witnessing around this world, with the rise of extremists, be it in Europe, be it in Asia, everywhere, when we see the growing number of neo-Nazi groups, neo-fascist group, when we see the way migrants and refugees are being vilified, we need therefore to make every effort to address this hate speech. We have to bear in mind that words kill. Words kill as bullets. And that is why we need to make every effort to invest on education, to invest on the youth, so that the next generation will understand the importance of living peacefully together. We need to make every effort so that the attacks like the one we have witnessed in Sri Lanka, when churches were attacked, the one we witnessed in New Zealand, what we saw in Pittsburgh, all this has to stop. And to stop it, we need to invest more on mobilizing the youth. We need to use the verb to become a tool for peace, a tool for love, a tool for increasing social cohesion, harmony in our world, instead of being a tool for committing genocide, crimes against humanity.
Ambassador, I know this might not go well with a lot of people that do not respect the law and order of our nation, but I believe integrity goes all the way if you want to respect the Constitution. If we talk about leadership, is it a concern that we want to have people respecting the law, but we have government that does not allow and follow court orders?
Well, where I come from, you know, if you are cooking a sufuria of jugu, right? You never miss one which refuses to soften, or which refuses kuiva. Eli, it's the same thing in a community, in any community, in the entire spectrum of leadership, in any country, anywhere. You will find people who are rogue. People will not follow the law. They will be there. And these are the people who do the very things you are trying to imply. Yeah? You find that they are supposed to implement the law, and they don't implement the law. And my feeling, and a very strong view as a Kenyan, and I see it early on, we must implement the law to the letter. Without fear, without intimidation, we need men and women of courage. To do that, then you see a very different Kenya.
And those are live pictures coming to you from the Bomas of Kenya, where the presidential election, or rather the presidential ballots are being counted and counter-checked with the Form 34 A's, B's will be created, and C's, which will announce the final winner of this election. For now, I'm hanging out with one MK Ronald. I don't know, MK, if you can hear me, but meanwhile, let's start with you, Godwin. Godwin, once again, good afternoon. Welcome to the conversation. Are you set for the next 1 hour? Because we have a long way to go, because I think we have to ask some people to bring us water.
Hope we get the energy.
Yes, Godwin. I mean, quite some beehive of activities there at the Bomas of Kenya, as you can see right there. I think we might really be looking to a long day of wait. Some of us have already started feeling uneasy with this process, but I think the only right way to do is to wait until we have the results coming through. And we have to ask you to exercise a lot of patience, because you did your job and now it's up to the IEBC to do its job. But IEBC, is it doing its job correctly? So far, so good. Godwin?
So far, so good. What IEBC is trying to do right now is to be more careful on the information that plays, or rather the final tally. Because if you remember the other day, just before election, IEBC chair, Fletcher, is saying he'll try his best to not to give all the candidates reason to go to court. So they're trying to be careful, and that's why they had to first upload from 34 A's on the portal, and wait until they verify, so that the final tally can be declared to the public. Because remember, the other time they were giving provisional results, and the same didn't go download with the public. So right now they're trying to be very careful. Although in their being careful, it's been so slow. And on the other hand, the ripple effect is the anxiety that is mounting on Kenyans right now. And we're really not getting much in terms of what people need. And now, people are trying to concentrate on things that will keep them away from the screens. But remember what the conversation we're having here about election stress disorder. It is going to have, as much as you want to keep off, it's still at the back of your mind. You want to flip in and see what's going on. Is there any new development? You switch on to it, you switch on TV, you find nothing. You go to social media, and all you get is stress, nothing much. So I think it will really need to be fast tracked in terms of the verification of our Form 4 A's.
Well, as much as we want the fast track to happen, indeed, we have to agree that it's not going to happen overnight. Yes, it's almost 3 or so days after the election, and Kenyans have been waiting for the final announcement. Already, some parties already created what they feel is what should be the results. And probably just for us to be able to follow through, This is the situation as it is right now in Bomet. The winner governor is Hilary Barchok from UDA. He is now the Bomet winner of the governorship race. We have in Nakuru, we have Susan Kihika from the UDA as the new governor-elect. And we will be giving you more and more of those seats as they come in. Of course, we have already the numbers and the figures, but we are working on one or two issues for us to be able to display them on your screens. In Nandi, we have Stephen Sang from UDA, the governor for from Nandi County, the governor-elect Stephen Sang. Gorin, I don't know if you're reading any kind of shape of things happening here. In Trans Nzoia, George Natembeya, DAPK, came in, and DAPK, it's an affiliate of Azimio. Somebody will say, what is his name? Natembeya was actually prepared to win this election, and he really tembered in Trans Nzoia. Let me bring in MK. MK, Natembeya was one man that was very controversial when he was in the provincial administration. Winning the Trans Nzoia County governorship, do you feel is going to bring in a new feeling of leadership into the county or politics?
Eli, first of all, it depends on what everyone understands by being controversial. No, you can be controversial for being ruthless. You want only the right thing to be done. You are very efficient in your work. You are not compromising. You are not ready to listen to anyone who is actually asking you to compromise on anything. Some people will call you, will consider you the better person. Others will consider you as controversial. Natembeya is that kind of a person. In my own assessment and interaction with him in the media, as far as his work was concerned, he actually is a person who should be the right person, the right candidate. You consider the work of a governor and the kind of influence that they face, the kind of pressure they face from the MCS, the kind of pressure they face from the senators, from the other areas, even the national government and other political players who are on the other side, who even threaten, governors always even threatened with impeachment over very flimsy things. But now you have somebody who has actually proven himself as efficient, ruthless. He is not compromising in any way. He is there ready to answer a critics, to do what is right. I think that is the best person. That is even the right person we should be having as a president. You are whether you want to compromise on anything. Mutembe is the right person. I think the people of Trans Nzoia have chosen the right person. The other candidate was actually that I'm forgetting, but it was a UDA candidate who garnered very little votes. I think it was less than 20,000. Again, it's over 100,000 plus. He's not a Wamalwa, Chris Wamalwa. Chris Wamalwa is a good leader. He's there. He's politically is a good leader. As an MP, has performed well, but now he faced a proper opposition. I think if Natembeya was not in the picture, Chris Wamalwa was going to be a good governor. But now Chris Wamalwa has been there in politics. He has friends in politics. He is there. He has affiliates. He has other interests. But you have Natembeya clean, not even affected by anything. Perhaps it should come in later because he's now into politics. He will have to face the other political factors that play in with your political leadership. But generally, he's the best person. I can't say he's controversial. I will tell you, he's the right person.
I don't know if Gordon you hold the same opinion, because Natembeya came in from nowhere, and from where he was coming from, people are complaining about Natembeya this, Natembeya that. Is he going to tembeza maendeleo in Trans Nzoia? What's your opinion?
I really want to agree with MK on this, because you see, in Kenya is a place where we politicize everything, and someone is good depending on which side of the divide they are. And one thing I want to applaud the electorate is, in these particular elections, people went for people, not parties. You understand? That's why it will be very rare, or in maybe in rare circumstances, like in Mount Kenya, where we had instances of 6 piece, where people coming from a single party, all the 6 elective seats. Other than that, we've had people looking at a person, not the party. You understand? And looking at George Natembea, this is someone who's worked so well in all the regions that he's been posted. He has a track record. You understand? Only the people who've seen him, like who try to change his name, are those people who maybe were affected by his work. You understand? Because either way, when you're working, you cannot please everyone. There are people whom we are going to rub shoulders with, and those are the people who will come and say so and so is bad. And then also still on the governor issue, I really want to think this Bomet, the newly elected governor in Bomet, Hilary Barchok, he might have done a good job, because remember, he was not elected in the first time as the governor for Bomet. He came in after the then governor Laboso succumbed to cancer. So he assumed office by virtue of being a deputy. So if he had not done a good job, chances of him being elected were very minimal. But for people of Bomet to elect him as now the governor, it means for the remaining period that he was in office, he's done a good job. And I really want to look at other people who assumed office under different circumstances, because you understand we had impeachments happening, some governors who were impeached because of integrity issues. We had Kiambu, where Nyoro came in as a result of the then governor Waititu being impeached. We had Ann Kananu coming in Nairobi after the Sonko saga was around. We had which other country was this? We had a number of people taking over by virtue of different circumstances that led to the then governors going out of office. So because in Nairobi already we know Ann Kananu was not buying, so we have Sakaja coming in. In Kiambu, we're yet to see. I don't know if Omatangi will be taking, or it will be Jungle, or the former governor Abogo. So let's wait and see how things are going to turn out. Eli, you muted, Eli?
Sorry about that. It's a matter of waiting and see on how things go. But for a moment, I want us to shift a little bit and talk about this man that everybody has been making a meme over. Magoha, the education cabinet secretary, has been on the receiving end for some time now. I don't know, gentlemen, if by any chance you feel people are overjudging Magoha. MK.
To some extent, really, yes. He deserves to be on the receiving end. And to another extent, you cannot actually blame him. Very specifically, I know people are considering the school calendar against the elections calendar. When Magoha initially announced, or rather gazetted gave a ministerial direction that the schools were to close on the 6th, and he knew very well it is in the constitution and it is not going to change, that the elections were supposed to be on the 9th of August. I think he just made a big blunder, because we know in this country, we know that public schools and most actual centers, and even the whole process itself, very much affects schools. Schools are used as polling centers, and we know those polling centers are usually prepared days before the actual election day. So when you give a direction that schools should close on the 6th, and the election is on the 9th, yet the polling officials need to be there at the polling station to start preparing and marking about 5 days earlier, you are acting like somebody who is ignorant. And then and yet you are a minister. You ignorant of the law. You're supposed to be actually having a legal department in your ministry that is supposed to be guiding you on what you should do. That is why he had to come back, announce that the schools will close on the 2nd. And now on the 2nd, announcing that the schools will close on the 2nd, he was doing this, making this announcement on the 1st, then you expect that people should prepare for their learners to get home, and the school should prepare to close, make everything and put every other arrangement in place so that they close. And then, that was a very short notice, affecting parents, affecting the school administration itself, affecting the pupils. But you're a minister, you should be having a legal advice, know that you should give 5 days, at least 5 days before the actual elections. Now, when we talk of after elections, pushing the schools to 15th, now I hear 18th to reopen, to some extent I will not blame him. Because you see, he did not anticipate all this. But at least he should have, the first date he should have given would have been 15th. The first date he gave, I think, was on 11th. 11th was also a mistake and over ambition. Thinking that after or before, just before 11th, we will have a presidential results allowance. That was over ambitious. That is why he's making very uninformed. I think rushed decisions. I don't know whether they're informed, ignorant, or rushed decisions. To some extent, we blame him when he postpones from 11th to 15th. It is out of his control. He has to do that. From 15th to 18th, he has to do that because he's not controlling the IBC and the whole process. So yes, Magoha, and not only that, Magoha has made very serious decisions previously that have left teachers wondering, including even the formulation of the calendar itself. You cannot give parents just 1 week a break to look for fees. Schools are closing on Friday, on Wednesday. Next week they should be opening. These schools will demand school fees. Parents are affected. Parents also need transport, to organize transport for their children. All those decisions. The way he's running the ministry, actually, we need a fresh mind. If you ask me, he should go somewhere else. Maybe he should go somewhere else where he can just bulldoze people and they just have to do what he says.
You muted, Eli. Eli, can't hear you. Okay, can you hear Eli? Eli. So MK, just back on the issue of Magoha.
Yes.
I want to say Magoha, the public had higher expectations when it came to Magoha because of his track record in the previous places he had served, especially at the University of Nairobi and the National Examination Council, because he performed very well. Even I remember when he was being appointed, Kenyans were very fast to conclude and saying it was a long overdue thing that should have happened. But now, out of the high expectations, I think when he came in, out of those expectations, he also was overambitious. And I don't know if it's true, but my thinking would be sometimes he does things as an individual without consultation. Because you look at some of the grave mistakes that happen, because there's some things you wouldn't expect to happen. But when they happen, now it doesn't pay, it paints him to be an incompetent. He has a very huge CV, being a surgeon and all that. But now, at times, it doesn't matter what position you have or how big your CV is. It narrows down to teamwork and consultation, because the team you're working with, you had a ministry, so it trickles down to having other sub departments down there, and these are people who are on the down to someone who's on the ground. So whatever information that reaches you is something you just have to look at it how it is before you relay information. But you don't go out there giving information for you to come and retract later on or look as confused. You can look at things like the issues of where he talks about 100% transition from primary to high school. So he gives, say, this time no child is going to be left at home. But you don't forget, these people are going to schools. You're not giving them a solution on how that is going to happen. Before you tell us you're looking at a 100% transition, tell us you've put in place this kind of mechanism. to facilitate that, because you're considering people coming from different backgrounds. The people who are well off, the people who are struggling even to put a meal on the table, leave alone raising school fees. You understand? So when you say you're expecting 100% transition, these people are coming from poor backgrounds. How are they being catered? Because having even private schools, you not just send someone into someone's school and tell them, you know what, the government says my child has to be in school. Who is funding the bills? Who is footing the bills? You had the other day principals considering either reducing on meal portions in school or doing away with meals, because you have to keep students in school. The economy is high there. Like, the parents are overburdened. Where do you strike the balance? So as much as the school will want to consider itself to be considered, there's still other factors to be considered. So I think the ministry under Mago has really failed.
I agree very much, and in fact, I will give it a less than 5 out of 10 if you ask me. And it tends to look like it is out of some, not only, this is not ignorance. Magua has a very big CV. He is, as you said, he's proven himself previously, but at this stage, I think it is arrogance. Arrogance will tell you don't need to consult. You don't need to do a simple consultation over. And he came after somebody who was very efficient. Machengi was very efficient, ruthlessly efficient in the ministry. In fact, he had overhauled all the education ministry to standards that had never been experienced before in the last over 20 years. But now we are having somebody who is arrogant, who doesn't want to consult, who will just, the way he just looks in that photo that you shared here, that is how he will, I think it appears that is how he makes decisions unilaterally and imposes them on the other stakeholders. And that is not the right thing to do it. Right now, you see, we have already lost about 3 weeks of the school calendar. Why? Because Magoha cannot decide. And again, not on, and as I said, not entirely him. Yes, there are some extent where there are things he cannot have control over. But we had projected that by January the normal school calendar should be back. Now 3 weeks into this month, we are lost. We are losing 3 weeks. Now tell me, by January we will still be having to do crash programs for our learners. That is what will happen.
But MK and Godwin, at the end of the day, it takes us back to where the source of the problem is. Yes, Magoha has made very erratic decisions until we have questioned his capacity as a cabinet secretary. We've questioned his qualifications, even though we still call him professor. One thing for sure is the elections planning looks to be a problem. I'll give you case in point. I was registered to work to vote at a diaspora station, and for that to happen, I have to take a day off, travel almost 9 hours to go and vote, then do the same, travel back for another 9 hours. And you cannot do that, based on the fact that it's a long distance. So ideally, you have to spend about 2 days out of work. So I don't know how we ended up. And MK, you're very versatile with the constitution, but is it time we really looked into that aspect of the voting as it is enshrined in the constitution? Why pick on that Tuesday? Why is it so significant? Why pick it on a day that learners are going to be affected, their school calendar, for a long time? Why not have it on a Friday, for example? MK.
Yes, I actually don't understand the proper rationale why they had to choose on the first Tuesday of August. I can't get clearly why that had to be. If you ask me, even the month itself is not the right. When you look at the normal calendar for Kenyans as a country, the Kenyans themselves, the cultures and what have you, August itself was not the right month. But again, maybe, just maybe, they were considering also the previous regime was supposed to actually be running out at a certain age, a certain stage. So prolonging it to December would have meant that the previous term before the new constitution would have been unreasonably prolonged. That is why it had to be put in the month of, even the US elections are happening in November, and we previously, the old constitution, we were used to doing this in December. And most of the people, Kenyans, will tell you December is the best time because we have traveled home. We have actually traveled home for our holidays. We have everybody is where they can comfortably vote. Nobody's are forced to travel between the month and when it's not convenient for them. So if considering that, if we consider the other factors, we may say yes, we will have pushed it to actually December and on say on a Friday. But again, you will still find it going into the next week.
I think
We
I'd
will have,
want to.
we will have actually done this. We will have actually done this. I have actually never found the rationale behind August.
Actually, now that you mentioned it, I believe it is something to do with the constitution and respecting the term of office. But I still feel we always have provisions in the constitution that can be able to alter some of these things. But Gordon, what is your feeling about all this idea?
I think to look at it, I'll look at it this way. I think the rationale would have come up in a way that remember schools are key stakeholder in the elections that we have because they are the polling stations. You understand? And in this manner, let's not forget the normal school calendar before COVID. August was a holiday, so I think that was factored in. Let's remember it's COVID-19 that came and disrupted the calendar, because by August, ideally students are not supposed to be in school, so they're in school by virtue of COVID-19 disrupting the calendar. So to that extent, I feel this was the the coincidence and the clashing of the calendar was was not determined, or it was not something that was foreseen before, because by the time the framers of the constitution were coming up, they never knew something like COVID would come. So to that extent, because I would say it is something that now we have to deal with. Mago will just will have to work with it. But the only thing he has to do is now look at the previous elections that we've had and look at most probably and most likely 2017 and 2013, because those are the elections that we've had under the new constitution. What has happened after announcement of results? How long have we? How much time have we taken maybe to go to the Supreme Court and all that? So even when he's giving date, he's not too far from whatever that is happening. Always giving in a room for after this election, we might have a presidential petition. How much time does it take? So that whatever date is suggesting, they are so practical in the sense that he can give in 2 days just to prepare parents psychologically. In an event where we're not going to have any presidential petition, this is the date. But should we have a petition, this is the date, so that parents are working within those 2 dates. Because what parents are doing right now, and we know how Kenyan parents behave, they always look for a reason to shift blame, because they say, you gave us a very short notice. Even the example of people closing on 6th and 2nd, you gave us a short notice. How did you expect us to do this? You gave us a short notice. Where do we get money to pay school fees within this time frame? But now, if they were practical enough, you know what we've had a presidential election in the previous in the last 2 terms. This is what happened in 2013. This is what happened in 2017. This is the much time we lost during this period. So, if to be practical, let us look at it, all scenarios. In a scenario where it is going to be a one-off, a presidential candidate is declared, and then the other one accepts. This is the scenario, because keeping in mind, after the voting day, IBC has 7 days to declare a candidate. So we are talking from 9th, give it 7 days from 9th. We are looking at 15th. IBC should have declared a candidate by 15th. At least now, if we are talking about resumption of school, we should be talking about 15th going forward. That is the first scenario where we don't have any petition. And then we have now another scenario. The IBC declares the results on 7th, which is within, on 15th, which is within their mandate. And then we have a presidential petition. How does it happen? Because we are foreseeing, in case of a presidential petition, we're having 2 scenarios. Either the victory is going to be upheld or is going to be nullified. after being nullified, what's going to happen? Because the same schools are going to be used as polling centers. So we have to, whatever team that is working with Magoa, those are some of the scenarios they'll be looking at, because these are things you can foresee, because the Constitution has already foreseen those scenarios happening. So whatever deaths that are coming in this scenario, they should be within those parameters.
Indeed, those are just some interesting scenarios that we're painting there. And on the right side of the screen, we're seeing the Agano party leader leaving the dais there at the Bomas of Kenya. I think he's there to look at how the election counting process, rather the verification process, is taking place. As you know, this is the center where everything else that was done at the county level or the constituency level comes in here and gets tallied and pre-checked to make sure that everything is as it was recorded at the constituency level. Godwin and MK are here with me as we discuss the matters that are surrounding these elections, including what we should be expecting with the new government. Previously, we've talked about what we have seen happening with the Bomas of Kenya countings. We've seen some Azimio la Umoja event, which was called the meet and greet event by Martha Karua, who is the deputy, the expected deputy president of Azimio la Umoja party, coalition. And we saw Honorable Mbadi actually saying that this election result should be declared today. There is nothing stopping them to do so. And we had that is the then Senator Orengo calling on DCI to investigate Kenya Kwanza team, calling them crooks, and they were doing some things that are fishy, that are against the law. And therefore, I mean, MK, these speculative statements, would you say, or are they just statements that are casting aspersions? How will you call them, MK?
I think it is number one. It is just about trying to keep to activate your crowds, your supporters, give them morale, and secondly, try to manage their expectations. You know, when you call call a presser like today, the way the KICC, the Karua was addressing the Azimio supporters, candidates, and officials. You know, she was talking of we have 24 governors, we have 23 senators. Yes, we can. You see, with all this, there is no way we can lose in the final tally. You know, she was saying all that. You know, that is actually managing expectations. But the truth is that's not factual. The numbers may be true, but what she actually predicts may be different from the real outcome. So it is kind of managing expectations of your people and your own, in fact, and then you're trying to activate your crowd. You know, they have been very silent. You know, if you go by what we have been seeing even on social media recently, most of these Azimio, to be specific, I don't know whether it's me only has too many of the Azimio friends on my timelines, or it is just a general overview, because they have been the loudest. You know, when the loudest go silent, you have to do something, especially when you're not at the finish line yet. It means there is something that is happening, but yet you still need them to speak. You still need them, their voice, because they have been supporting you by their voice all through the process. So when they go silent, you need to actually activate them. That is why they thought that pressure was necessary. But if you ask me, it was not. Personally, I think it was not. I've seen previously when candidates call press conferences and do meetings and air them. You know, it is actually sending a message. I don't know that message. So I think there is nothing factual, and it is very unnecessary. It is actually not necessary to give an ultimatum that these results must be announced today. Are you the one telling? You know, the realities are down there with the IBC. They cannot go as you predict or as you anticipate. That is not necessary. These are actually meant for their supporters, not for consumption of any other logical person who wants to know the reality and follow what the due process brings.
Okay, I want us to just take a look at what Karua had to say earlier on. And here is the conversation, and we are going to roll the tape.
Good afternoon, everybody. Asanteni nyote. Leo ilikuwa tupate wanaazimio wote. We meet and greet. We appreciate ourselves for a very good campaign, a 4-month campaign versus a 4-year, or was it a 9-year campaign? Well done. You're nothing short of heroes. In those 4 months, you transformed the terrain and you painted Kenya blue. We have taken the first step in transforming Kenya. We have much more to do. And therefore today is just telling ourselves, you may be feeling the fatigue of the last 4 months because we were not exhausting, but let your mind recharge because we've got more work to do. And for all of you, because you are in Nairobi, we need to distribute ourselves to the various places where our strength is needed to guard our win, because we have won. I was looking at the list of members of parliament. I'm very tempted to read out the names. I will not, I may not tire you because they've been introduced, but we are just short of 180 when you combine. You see? We have 24 governors at the moment. If you add Mombasa and Kakamega, whose by-election is coming later, you will see that we have strength around the country. If you look at our competition, they are just at about 130 members of parliament. When I last counted, even if it improves, it will not come anywhere near what we have. So even without anybody telling you the numbers, with those numbers of members of parliament, of governors, of senators, we have 23, they are one up. But if you look at everything, including all the other seats combined, there is no way the tally can be against us. And by the way, we have tallied. It's just that we do not have the power to announce ourselves, because the forms were on the portal, and we took copies and we tallied, and we know where we are. And we know if we had the power, by now we would have called it for ourselves. But we will wait. We will wait for that announcement. But please be upbeat. Know that Kenyans did give us the opportunity to steer the nation, and we are waiting for the official seal of approval. Our coalition is Azimio la Umoja. That work of unifying Kenyans, you saw the map there. We've taken a step, but that's just the beginning. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to ensure that the people we serve get the benefits of the taxes that they pay. And those benefits are not distributed by a few to their pockets. So we really have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do to build the spirit of one people, one nation, so that we first and foremost consider ourselves Kenyan, and then our communities and the rest. Because it's not wrong to acknowledge our diversity, to acknowledge the various communities we are coming from. That's our heritage, we are proud of it, but we must always emphasize our oneness as a nation. And that is what we represent as Azimio. And that is why even during the campaign, we promised to look after everyone, including those opposed to what we stand for. Recognizing that they are Kenyans, we said we shall look after everybody, and we meant it. And like we used to say, you know, our captain, we are here with his blessings, with his knowledge, he sends his greetings. You know, our captain is a man who has a very generous heart. He never carries forward grudges. He's a person who embraces all, and a person who focuses his energies on what is good for the nation. We really are looking forward to this election being called for us so that we can support him to deliver to the nation, as I know he will. Knowing that we have a lot of reform work to do, and we would have wanted more reforms even before the elections, we have to very jealously guard even that process that is ongoing at Bomas. I know some of you have been there. Thank you so much for your presence. Those who have not been there, let us all try to take turns. We need to support that process to ensure that it is not infiltrated, to ensure that it is not corrupted. Agents in the tallying center to ensure that the numbers are put together the way they should be, and that the authentic forms count, or the authentic forms count, not any other form by the wayside, so that we can get to the conclusion of this. But I cannot tell you how pleased I am to see all the faces around, and I want to echo something Kioni and Kanini have said, and I think also my good friend, His Excellency, the Governor-elect of Siaya, that for those from Mount Kenya region, because except Meru, no seats have been won in that area. But you actually won votes, and actually Meru and Nyandarua. Yes, sorry, I apologize for Nyandarua because there is Kiaraho. And yes, there are two from Nyandarua. Even where no seat came, votes still came. And if they may not have been as many as we hoped, but you can imagine if those votes had gone the way some chest-thumping fellows were announcing they would go, then it would have been called out for them the first day. But because it was not, because we disrupted that chest-thumping boast and made it idle, we are now waiting for it to be called for us. When you go to war, even in the areas where we got as many votes, the occasional person who missed, you're still our hero because you put up a fight and you stood in the gap. So for those who are here and you didn't make it, feel greatly appreciated. You're part of us, and together we are going to take the next steps and to build a formidable coalition, to build a formidable nation, and to build a movement that will transform our landscape, and to ensure always that our nation is peaceful. I want to thank you for coming at very short notice. I think you started receiving calls yesterday. Some of you have had to travel, some overnight. We want to thank you, and this is the same spirit we saw during the campaigns. We'd give you very little notice when coming to your areas. You never disappointed, you mobilized, you were there, and you have made it what it is today. You are our heroes, each one of you. We thank you, we love you, and we want you to know that we look forward to working with all of you as one. We do not view any part of the country as not part of the Blue Nation. Where we need several more coats of blue, we have enough paint in our stores. We are coming. Where you have an undercoat that does not proclaim the Blue Nation, we want to tell you that you belong to us too. We will convince you. It will not be a force taking, but we are coming, because Kenya must be one. And that doesn't mean there should be no dissent. We appreciate and recognize the right of everybody to dissent. But that spirit of oneness, because that is what Azimio la Umoja represents, oneness. That spirit of oneness, that nationhood, is what we are going to spread to the whole country while respecting differences in opinion. I don't want to go any further, just to say we are ready for the task ahead. This is just the beginning of our meetings. This was a meet and greet. Immediately, the announcement we expect is made. There will be many more meetings. You will meet as members of parliament, as National Assembly, as Senate, to caucus and elect leadership. Women reps will also meet because they also need to caucus around themselves. And those governors will meet. We intend to showcase devolution. You know, our captain is very passionate about devolution. Indeed, I would christen him the father of devolution. This is our chance to make devolution what it should be. So we look forward to governors caucusing, sharing, encouraging one another, and sharing good practices on what to do to make devolution work for Kenya. So like I've said, this is just one of the first of the many meetings we are going to have. I want once again to urge you, if there are places they have not finished tallying for members of parliament, any place they have not issued certificates, go support our members. At Bomas, let us take turns. Let us support that process. We have invested. We have our votes there. We have our win being tallied. So go out there and let us ensure everything goes on well. I want to thank you. Once again, congratulate you all, not just those who got the seats, all those who put their best foot forward to make today what it is. And we look forward to working together and making it happen for Kenya. Asanteni sana.
Eli, you're muted. Can't hear you.
Okay, good afternoon once again. You are watching the live events as they happen. Earlier on, we were looking at a clip of the address from Martha Karua to the Azimio team at the KICC, and we are hoping that you can follow this through on our channels. That is the Arts in Heart Official on YouTube, the Arts in Heart on Facebook, and the fans of the Arts in Heart on all our fan pages. I am with me, Godwin Segero. Good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon, Eli.
And long afternoon, I must say, and I'm joined with MK again in Kakamega. I think he's enjoying that, should be Muliro Garden scenery right there, if I'm not wrong. Are you at the Muliro Gardens?
Yes, earlier I'm actually around there. There is a place where somebody can barizi as akikunywa soda. I'm actually
Yes.
at Kakamega, right inside town. Yes.
Yes, I
Okay,
mean
I hope you understand. Muliro Garden is so famous
for having a good place of rest.
It is a very nice place. The other things you know about it, no, I don't think it's happening right now.
I think he should keep his opinion to himself because all I know is Muniru Garden has a beautiful, beautiful garden there. And for anyone who has never been to Kakamega, you should make yourself a ride and travel to Kakamega. It hosts one of the largest natural tropical forests. Unfortunately, a lot of encroachment has been happening, and I hope we can be able to restore this in the future because our future generations depend on this ecosystem that we call the forests. MK, the Martha Karua factor, and Gordon will agree with me, a lot of people did not have trust that Martha Karua was going to deliver, and of course, from where we sit right now, we understand 40% of the votes were swayed in favor of Azimio, with about 20 plus governors being elected, 23 if I'm not wrong, in favor of Azimio. Gentlemen, what do you make of that outcome? Did Azimio partnership deliver?
Let me go first. I think
okay,
I'd be so passionate about the running mate factor because we all know how contested it was on the issue of choosing a running mate. It was a kind of hide and seek game across the divide. Everyone waiting to see who will choose who first for them to decide who they're going to choose. Understand? So starting with Kenya Kwanza, we all know how contested it was when it narrowed down to Kithure Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua. And then on the other hand, we had an Azimio where we had even to an extent of having interviews to interviewers who was best suited to be a running mate. But from where I see it, the interviews were just sideshow to wait on who Kenya Kwanza were going to choose. Let me remind you, Eli, politics is a game of numbers. And the reason why party leaders choose a running mate is they try to choose who can deliver. And Mount Kenya in this election was a determining factor. And that's why everyone was looking at Mount Kenya. And that's why, for some reason, it was given either coalition was going to get a running mate from Mount Kenya. But now the problem was who was going to be more calculative on who's going to deliver the number. And at this point in time, I'd want to say Deputy President William Ruto was very calculative. Why do I say this? Look at the numbers that Rigathi Gachagua has delivered in terms of MPs, like literally Nyeri County, where Rigathi Gachagua comes from. He did a 6 with everyone that was elected in Nyeri County came from UDF. That is a plus to the Deputy President. On the other hand, look at Kirinyaga, where Martha Karua comes from. Martha Karua did not deliver even a single seat to Azimio. And that speaks volume. Because remember, in Azimio, it was totally contested between Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka. Now let's go to Eastern region, where Kalonzo hails from. Kalonzo has delivered more seats in Ukambani than what Martha Karua has done from Mount Kenya. So literally, it's going after the presidential candidate has been announced. It's going to be very hot should Azimio assume power, because as much as Martha Karua is going to be the deputy president, she'll not have much say per se, because we all saw what happened in the previous parliament, where Jubilee had to mobilize numbers from the ODM side when UDA left the parliament for them to pass motions. And this time, if Kalonzo is going to have a more bargaining power, because he's going to say, you know what, I have a bigger say than Martha Karua. I have numbers, I have members in the house. If you don't give me what I want, then they'd rather work with the opposition. This is in a scenario where Azimio has won the election. So it's going to be very difficult for Martha Karua to have a say, because if you're a running mate and you cannot deliver even in your own polling station. It really speaks volumes, you know. So on the other hand, Rigathi Gachagua can say, you know, I was the best bet. I was given the running mate position. I've delivered everything to the last man. So what else do you want? You know, he's proven himself. He can mobilize and he can get the numbers. So from what I see, Martha Karua, as much as she might be confident, she doesn't have even a member of parliament from her own party, Na Kenya, in Kirinyaga. So it really puts her at a very awkward position, because we understand her appointment came. It was meant to kill two birds with one stone, to deliver the Mount Kenya vote and also the women vote. So on one side, on the Mount Kenya vote, she's really failed to deliver. Now we are looking at the women vote, of which that one we can't really tell, because it was a secret ballot, so you can't tell how many women voted for Azimio and how many voted for UDA.
First of all, I even don't know where you got 40% for Mother Karua delivering in the central region. Because if you ask me, the last time I was checking, I don't know whether she even delivered 20% in Kirinyaga County. I doubt. If she did, maybe it was, but not more than 30%. Generally, she has actually not delivered. In fact, if Azimio don't win, the only part that has failed to deliver, the only arm that has failed to deliver is the deputy president part. She has zero. Actually, she has won 0 seats for Azimio in the whole of Central Region. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. She has actually won nothing, no seat. UDA has actually swept even all the governors. You can see even in Nakuru, UDA has swept all the 3. In fact, we have more than 7 women leaders in Nakuru. Almost all of them are actually UDA. If you ask me, the main purpose of choosing Karua against, as opposed to Kalonzo, was because the effect, the effect that would have been occasioned if Karua was somebody from Central was not chosen, was that all the Central region, the entire Central region, was then going to switch or shift to UDA, and that will mean actually a very detrimental effect, will cause a detriment to the vote basket of Azimio in general. So it was get somebody from Central, keep Kalonzo in the team, so that we have Azimio. We have Azimio with Kalonzo and Karua. And now, because we all knew that UDA, Kenya Kwanza was choosing running it from Central, the right thing to do was to counter that by choosing another one. So they were actually pitting Karua against Gachagua. It has actually really backfired. It has not even yielded anything. If you take away, in fact, I don't know if it is any different if Uhuru would have just campaigned for Raila himself and leave Karua out. I think it will have the same effect. But somebody told me, a friend of mine told me that this UDA vote in Central is not actually against Karua. This is rumors I'm spreading. I can't verify his, but let me just say it. It is a protest vote against Uhuru Kenyatta. And why? A protest vote against Uhuru Kenyatta for defying, number one, for trying to sell them Raila, and 2, for trying to defying the agreement with Ruto, whereas they had already fallen for Ruto in 2013 and 2017. He had actually made Ruto one of them. So it was a protest vote against Uhuru more than it was against Karua. So
okay, and K, as you do that, is it possible to readjust your microphone? We really have some interruption coming through your microphone. I think it's rubbing against your jacket.
Is that better?
That's way better, sir.
I think the volume was just adjusted downwards. So I'm just trying to say, generally, if you ask me, everybody was rushing for the Mount Kenya running mate, specifically for a reason that they wanted a share of that vote. And whoever has gotten the highest share of that Mount Kenya vote has actually gotten away with it. He has actually delivered. They actually achieved the intention. And this person is William Ruto. Although William Ruto will have actually, if you ask me, gotten the same number of votes if he chose any other person. but he will not have gotten that vote if he failed to choose from Mount Kenya. So it is not entirely about Ruto. It is about him having a running mate from Central Kenya. But Karua, I don't know. Karua is confident. She's confident. She has always been. She's not a bad leader, but she has failed to deliver the vote. She is actually part of the reason why there is nobody really knows what is happening, who is likely to win. If they don't win, wait and see. Everybody will be blaming her very directly. She will be asked, how many seats do you have in Azimio? How many have you brought? In fact, they are very, Kalonzo has delivered so many, rather, almost all the Kikuyu, Kiambu, Kamba region have delivered under Wiper. All these seats are in the Azimio basket. You know, it is not about the votes, and eventually it is about after you won the presidency. Do you have the numbers to control the house? Do you have the numbers to control the house? The parliamentary committees, do you have them to? Can your numbers elect a speaker to propagate your ideas and your bills and all that? And you see, if you can't have the numbers in the houses, you are just a lame president. You will not.
So are you calling Ruto a lame president? According to Junet, he already submitted a request for people to submit in their CVs to vie either for the Speaker of the upper or the lower house. And their numbers, according to them, are showing they are doing very, very well because they have already declared, they have declared results for the members of parliament and the members of the Senate.
I think none of them can actually be called a lame president at this stage. We haven't actually seen the total number of members they have in the houses, considering they are even yet to do nominations. You know, the nominations also add, some of these independent candidates will be convinced to sway to the other sides, to the sides that they deem fit, so that actually somebody can amass numbers. And when you have these numbers, you are going to succeed in having your people in leadership in the house committees. The speakers are yet to be elected, the whips, all those. So you have to look at the numbers. And now look at, you are gathering numbers, but your deputy brought nothing, no number. Actually delivered zero from our own region. That is a misgiving on the part of Azimio entirely, except actually on the part of Karua as a running mate candidate. Apo, that is my position on that. They are going to blame her eventually when it comes to that side. We will be discussing this.
But do you see a shift of blames because Martha Karua was not able to deliver from her own, basket? Godwin?
Firstly, it's going to be this is politics, really. Before you look at anything else, this is politics, and everyone would want to be relevant, and people want to change her name because now everyone is united because they're looking at the main cause, which is winning the presidency. Now assume this is done, and Azimio has the president. Now everyone will want to see who is powerful, and Martha Karua is not going to have an easy ride in terms of being a running mate. I'd not be surprised if at some point if she's still the principled iron lady we've always had. You might see her maybe resigning because the working environment that she's going to be under should Azimio assume office is going to be very difficult because once you're in politics, all you need is bargaining power. What can you deliver? And that's why you saw even in Kenya Kwanza in the power sharing deal in the agreement. There are conditions that are attached to whatever position people are going to be given. You remember the 70% from Western for Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula to have something, because everything comes with conditions. So you cannot have a running mate, or rather a deputy president who's in office without any number, even if you are to bargain in parliament. What are you going to use to bargain? As I told you earlier, should Kalonzo demand for anything and they don't give him, he'll say, okay, fine, I agree, you don't have to give me, but now I'm moving to this side and I'm moving with my MPs. What is going to happen? He's going to sabotage now how Azimio is going to run events in the House. So it's a very delicate balance. Martha Karua is not going to have it easy should Azimio win herself for that. Even the promised cabinet for constitutional justice and constitution, it might not come forth because what we are giving you on what basis? Yes, you are running it. If anything, we are doing you a favor because we've given you this office. But what are you bringing? Because politics is a matter of give and take. It's about interest. Yes, for you, your interest of being a DP have been met, and thanks to you because it's provided under the constitution. We might not have the luxury of maybe firing or replacing you because you're protected by the constitution. But now you're not going to have a say per se. There are other people who are going to call shots. So you just be there as a stamp. Yes, you have an office. Even if you narrow down to delegation of duties, you might have the same the scenario we've had in the last 5 years repeating itself because people don't want to carry liabilities with them. And it's going to be a very tough time for Martha Karua should Azimio assume.
Well, a tough ride for Martha Karua should Azimio assume office. Right there on the split screen, you can see those are live images from the Bomas of Kenya coming in to show us what is happening there. I must say it's a beehive of activities at the Bomas. We were hoping to connect to one of the reporters that is on the ground. However, we've not been able to technically reach out to him, and therefore we will be postponing that to our later on time. For the moment, you see right there, I believe those are the returning officers and from different counties that have come there in terms of constituencies to just present their papers to see that they are able to be tallied, some agents overlooking the processes to make sure that nothing fishy is happening. And that is quite an activity room, and we do understand that probably it's not possible to have them work as fast as we would have wished. But again, we are looking forward to have the results coming out as soon as practical. And with me in studio, we have MK. Ronald MK is an advocate and, of course, a practicing lawyer, partner with the Kadima and Havagali Advocates in Nairobi, Kenya. We equally have Gordon Sigero, who is our producer right here at the Arts in Heart. And myself, Likuyani Eli, we are discussing the post-election analysis of how we are going to move forward after the elections are finally announced and we have a president. Godwin and MK, we probably will be having the results, and that's for a fact. Do we anticipate any visits to the courts? MK, if you want to go first.
Yeah, Ellie, as it is right now, personally, I've been following keenly. I haven't actually seen any key breach that might warrant anyone to go to the court. The process is very slow, yes, but we haven't, at least, other than it being slow, we haven't actually experienced any malpractices. Going all the way to even the way the votes have been cast at the ballot stations, we have not been reported. There have not been reported any serious malpractices. We are actually now at the tallying stage. We haven't seen any serious problems. Now, only if something arises now, maybe between now and the final result announcement, that is when we may talk of maybe if there will be reasons why somebody should go to the court. But as it stands now, I from where I sit, I only expect a final result. If then that final result will be a 50+1 for a winner, 50% +1 for the winner, then we are done. I really don't. There are even scenarios where somebody will rush to the court, but we may just find 1, 2, 3, 4 breaches, or even none. But if there are any, the court is likely also to say if there was any 1, 2, 3 breaches, these are not substantive enough to warrant a nullification. Somebody may still go to court, but not with reasons enough to warrant a nullification. So we may not rule that out because the process is ongoing. But as far as the information I have right now in my system, I don't think there is any serious breach.
No serious breach. Godwin, are Kenyans tired? Do we need to go back to normal and start our life? I mean, how do you feel about this whole scenario?
Honestly speaking, Kenyans are tired. Kenyans wants to bring back activities. We have businesses that are very slow because when you're looking at even stock, even those parties to restock and such, they're still skeptical. You know, what if I restock and then ABCD happens? You know, there's that uncertainty. And then on the issue of going to court, from where I sit, I think Kenya naturally is just a litigious nation, so courts are inevitable, whether from the participants themselves or even just normal citizens. Although we know most of the normal citizens are used by politicians to bring certain petitions. Because as we speak right now, there's already a petition in court barring deputy president and his running with Rigathi Gachagua from being sworn in should they win this election. You know, so already we'll be in court. You understand? So heading to court is going to be inevitable for whatever reason. Whatever outcome that comes out, that's a story for another day.
Gorin, are you there with me?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I think I'm having some sluggish connection coming your end, but it's okay. We cannot say that we can rule out the court proceedings anytime soon, and that is the style we are looking into moving forward. MK,
Yes, I can
having
hear
some
you.
feedback coming from your end. I don't know what's happening there.
Really? I don't think there is any.
Yes, there could be some two tabs that are active on your end, so kindly check on that to enable us to move forward.
Okay.
So we are going to take another break, and when we come back we have closing remarks on this conversation. For now, you are watching the As in Heart, and this is the president we want. Let's take some messages.
Mambo yenyewe kwa ndani.
Like to see your fingers.
I can do this one. Ndio mama wana ring yake iko hapo. Yeah. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the IEBC for the fantastic work they've done to put out this important position we have here, this polling booth, this polling station, this polling center here in Berlin, Federal Republic of Germany. This is an important step in enabling our people who live in the diaspora to exercise their democratic rights wherever they may be. It's progressive and it's moving well. The second thing I'd like to say is to affirm my personal deep gratitude for our Constitution, which enables us to exercise our democratic rights. Many countries do not have this right, and we have this possibility to say who we want to lead us. The third thing is I would encourage all Kenyans here in Berlin, in the whole of Germany, in the whole of Europe. We're happy yesterday we had people coming in from Brussels, from France, and we hope that this will continue along the day, and at the end of polling at 5 p.m. today, we'll be able to have exercised our democratic rights. Kwa haya machache mimi nasema asante sana kwa serikali yetu imewezesha constitution yetu ifanye kazi hapa Berlin, na tumefurahi kwamba diaspora wala wanaishi nje ya Kenya wanaweza kuja hapa wala
kwa njia ya ukweli moja kwa mwingine. Sisi viongozi wa makanisa tunawapa ahadi kwamba tutaombea amani na umoja katika nchi yetu, na sana wakati huu Twaomba Wakenya wote tujumuike pamoja katika sala, tukiwa peke yetu mwenyewe ama kwa jumla, tukiwa kama makanisa ama wengi pa pamoja, tukiongozwa na maneno ya National Anthem, wimbo wa taifa, ambao twajua waanzia: E Mungu nguvu yetu, lete baraka kwetu, haki iwe ngao na mlinzi, na baadaye tunasema na tukae na umoja, amani na uhuru, na tuweze kupata baraka tele. Hayo ni ufupi wa tafsiri kwa Kiswahili. Naomba radhi akiwa nimekosea kidogo, lakini nafikiri imeshika vile mwenyekiti amesoma. Asanteni.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the media? Okay, thank you very much. And you also appreciate the media who went right. You are right for some of the previous questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Did I get 80%?
Yes, you tried.
Yes, that is live pictures coming there from the NCCK headquarters. They were having my apologies for that. We are having quite some interesting stuff happening here on a Saturday afternoon. We are following through with everything that is happening around the country and beyond borders. That was the NCCK, the collection of National Council of Churches of Kenya, and asking us as Kenyans to remain peaceful, continue in prayer, and in the words of our national anthem, continue praying for peace and tranquility in our nation. With me is, of course, Godwin Segero. Godwin, I don't know if you were able to capture a few of the wordings that were being delivered there by NCCK team. Are we praying enough?
I think as a nation, these are things that we discuss, because as a nation, if there's something we never lose, is hope. So the men of the both, to a large extent, help us to keep the hope, keep the faith. Times busy, and so when they come and give us hope that encourage us to maintain peace, I think it's a good thing. The anxiety that is dominating the country right now. If you don't find someone to give you hope, you might that reason. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing to pray and have some hope. MK, have you been praying?
Yes, very much. I think we are one of the most overly religious countries. With even today, there are others who are in church. Others will be in church tomorrow. I don't know about spiritual, but we are really religious. A religious country. People are praying daily. Churches are even on Monday, Tuesday. People are praying. So we have prayed. We continue to pray. Yes, we need that peace. We need that hope. Let the people who are responsible for whatever they should be doing right do it right. Then we shall be good. I have hope we will not have any chaos, any irregularities that will warrant a repeat of the process. I really don't think we should go that way, because already we are losing much. You can see schools should be opening on 18th. Others will be closing on 23rd because we have elections in Mombasa and Kakamega. We don't know about whether there will be a runoff or not. All these things. But we just need to keep that hope alive and know that I hope that the people who are responsible for related tasks carry them out properly and with integrity. Otherwise, we shall keep praying. Yes.
As we keep praying, you just told me we are very religious, and it begs the question. Please help me, gentlemen, understand how David Mwaure from Agano Party is unable to offset one wa Jakoya. Kwani tunapenda bangi kuliko dungu? Godwin.
Let me tell you one thing. Remember, MK mentioned something. He said we are religious, but he doesn't know if we are spiritual. Those are two things, which now translates to what is happening between now the other set of contestants, because divided in two. The first set we have Raila and Ruto, and then the second one we have Jacob battling it out with Maure. And the other day someone said kura za Jacob zinaingia mbili mbili kama whatever they said. Then the other one said kura za Maure zinaingia kama sadaka. So mimi nimesema anyway. Now that begs the question how much we give as offering in churches as Kenyans. If indeed Maure is getting whatever Maure is getting is commensurate to the offering we give, then we're just religious.
We're just religious and nothing spiritual about us. MK, why would anyone vote for Jakoya in the place of Mwaure? Or even why will you disqualify Ruben Kigame and most of us sing to his tunes? Umeahidi utaniwacha. Every single morning we wake up to that tune.
It is basically because this is a political process. This is nothing to do with religion. This is entirely political, and religion might have an aspect to play in it, a bit of it, or a big part of it, but it remains a political process. I think that is the reason. Otherwise, if it were a religious body election, then we will look at it from that angle. Why would somebody go for this person who is usually overly religious against a person who is not as religious and compared to Ronald? See, we will now look at that. But it is a politics is a science on its. A religion is not a science. So a science will have various factors. It can actually be studied. You can study why somebody will listen to Wajackoya and believe them and not Mwaure. And on Sunday they listen to Mwaure and not Wajackoya, because on Sunday it is a religious affair. On these other days it's a political affair. I think that will explain that.
And just to add on, from where you left, I think Kenyan electorate is an informed electorate, and when it comes to the issue of voting, we really don't look at what you do or how popular you are. It narrows down to what policies you are coming in with, what agenda you're trying to push, and that's why many Kenyans confuse popularity with now being able to be elected. We've seen many celebrities who've come in with different on taking different elective seats, But now the electorate comes and says, you know what? Wait a minute. Yes, you are popular. We love you on social media. We love the content you create. But now, when it comes to serious matters, we're looking at ABCD. And the church is not excluded from this. Going back, you remember when the other time Pastor Peace Muru, he was so famous. He used to command a lot of population in terms of people would be glued on the televisions. He'll tell you eka mkono kwa redio, eka mkono kwa TV, and you'll find almost the entire nation omeka mikono. But now when it comes now to kusema nataka kupigia kura, he tried the presidency. Where did he go? I think he's never tried that again, because he knew these are a whole different ballgame. So it's a high time the people we have, let's say the clergy, the celebrity, they have to measure what they're coming in with, so that you don't come in saying, I'm popular, I have numbers on Instagram, I have numbers on YouTube, I have numbers on Twitter. So I think Kenyans love me. If you don't have any tangible thing you bring on the table, it will be a problem. We all know what happened to mtoto wa mama ama mtoto wa Diana. I don't know who he is, Bahati. the other time he cried, saying the people of Mathare Grand ilikuwa wamesema ni yeye, and he was going to agitated when he was told to step down and he'll be given a job in the Azimio government. Now I think he might be thinking maybe I would have considered that because ground will shift.
Do you feel, guys, that sometimes, or are you informed that sometimes when we rebel in terms of the leadership of the party, you get punished for that? Is this what Bahati could be going through, MK?
I don't think it is actually rebelling against the party. It is what the party had actually decided to do. You know, Azimio as a coalition had thought of zoning, had talked of zoning as a solution to having very many candidates from the affiliate parties vying the same region, which would then give an advantage of the opponent's candidate who will be say just one. So they had come up with the idea that Bahati should support Oluoch. They were both in the Azimio coalition. And then they were facing off against a UDA candidate. Now, when Bahati realized that is likely to give up, is being told to give up his position, his certificate, that is now what agitated him. Because I think he somehow did not trust the leadership of Azimio that they were going to actually give him a position in the government if they win, or they will reward him in another different way. That is why he felt like he's being cheated. And it happened in very many other areas too. Some candidates have been silent. Only that now we have had Bahati speaking out about it. Others have been silent about it. But the real defiance of party usually happens when there is a house in place. There is a parliament that is running. Then you happen to go against, for instance, against the position of a party, or you happen to be clearly interested in the affairs of a different party when you still have are elected in a different on a different party's ticket. That is now when the disciplinary machinery of a party is now activated, is now invoked. But at this stage, I think it was as a kind of an arrangement, and directives that this is how we want to do our campaign, this is how we want to arrange Kujipanga as a party so that they get the maximum seats. And you realize that most of these areas, we have had UDA sweep seats. They actually had only one candidate from the entire Kenya Kwanza coalition. As opposed to you could find that the Azimio had a ODM candidate and a Jubilee candidate in such places. Or in Central, you could have other parties. Maybe KNAC has a candidate and Jubilee has a candidate. But Kenya Kwanza has only UDA as a candidate. That's when you're now giving an opponent an upper hand. So yes, there is a machinery for party disciplinary when especially you are going against the party's position and the constitution and regulations, but there is also that pre-election when kuna kupangwa, yani unapangwa, you have to do that. It is sometimes very necessary so that your opponent doesn't get an upper hand. So Bahati, yeah, alikuwa tu a victim because eventually he was given a go ahead. He garnered 8,000. He came third. He lost. At least now he's satisfied that he was not the popular candidate. Which is the right thing to do, as a democracy would want it, but as a party would want it. The party will not agree to do that because it's detrimental to their numbers. Yes.
Great. Gentlemen, any closing remark from you, Godwin, as we wind up?
Just before I give my closing remarks, just to add something on MK's sentiments, I'd want to look at it this way. When it comes to punishment for defying the party, yes, you might be punished by your party or whichever coalition, but now it doesn't reflect on what people want, because we've seen instances in this election, even the previous elections, where someone was rigged out of nomination, they went independent, and they eventually won. So as much as the party wanted to have this certain candidate, because they usually have a strong candidate, but now the people have the final say, because you'll find a candidate who's been denied a ticket on a certain party because the party was favoring another candidate, and then the very candidate who was denied the ticket ends up winning. So what does that tell you? You might have your own opinion as a party on who you think is strong, but now the electorate has the final say. They'll decide, you know what, you said you want this person, but for us, because we are the one electing and we need someone who understands us, we're still going to choose them, whether they are on the party or independent. And that's what they are looking at, a person and not really a party, because if it was a matter of party, all the perceived stronghold of Azimio would be having a 6-piece, and all the perceived Kenya Kwanza, what do you call it, strongholds will be having 6-piece, all Kenya Kwanza. But now you find in a Kenya Kwanza stronghold, we're having people voting for the president, but when it comes to the governor and the other seats, they're mixed. So you'll find people voting from this camp and voting from this camp because they're looking at individual people who are going to resonate with them. Then on my closing remarks, I really want to urge Kenyans to maintain for anyone, however much you want to say you are not concerned. Everyone is really concerned, because even if you're not actively engaged in following on the happenings in the political sphere, you have your businesses being paralyzed at this moment because things are really not moving as they ought to be. We have children out of school right now. We have a lot that is going on. So people want this thing to come, and we proceed with our normal activities of the day. So let's just keep peace and hope that the best will come.
Thank you, Gordon. Let's keep peace and hope that things turn out great. MK, your final remarks?
Let us just know that we cannot predict the outcome of the election at this point. And now that we can't predict, but we have already voted, let us know that anybody can win. Now, when you know that anybody can win and you manage what you have been expecting, you will have very little stress. You will have no anxiety. You will have the anxiety, but you will be less stressed once the outcome is announced. And when that happens, it means that we are likely to have very less agitation, very less chaos, because once you know you're accepting the outcome as it will be, why will you go on the roads and throw stones and burn tires and do stuff? We will be peaceful. We will know that eventually we have somebody has been chosen. We have chosen somebody, not somebody has been chosen for us. If the election, if it comes to incidences of chaos, let us try to just be safe. You never know. You may be running into trouble where you are. You don't know. Actually, we are all wishing for peace, but we cannot be guaranteed that peace. We are the ones to guarantee ourselves the peace and the safety. That is all I would say.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on set tonight, and for everybody that has been watching for the last 3.5 hours. We do appreciate your time. We will give you more and more of this information as it comes in. For now, I want to take that well-deserved break and let you enjoy the rest of our shows on our channel. That is the Arts in Heart Official on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and make sure to share if you haven't, because that's where we bring you news as it comes in. For now, have a great afternoon. Until we see you guys later. Turane.
This is your country. I don't see why you should say you need a ministry for this. I only support the fact that in those embassies and consulates, we need structures. We could incorporate structures that are actually taking care of any interest that you've raised that is of concern. Then we could, it is not entirely diplomatic only, it is actually, should actually take care of even your labor matters, all those in that embassy, so that you have, the way an embassy, the US embassy works here in the country, we always see how they coordinate with their citizens. That embassy in where you are, Margaret, can actually do this, and you can invest your money here without a ministry actually for that.